wrestling out there in is it YouTube land or is that TV land? I mean, I don't know anymore the way this works. But yeah, how y'all doing out there? Welcome to another episode of the Wrestling Show. And with us tonight we have Mr. Jason Stewart, who apparently took a bath in oil of poison ivy. How are you tonight, Jason?
Oh man, doing good, man. Itching to get at it, man. Let's talk wrestling.
Yeah. Also with us is Kingpin, the king of the pin people. How are you tonight?
No,
That's not an answer. Oh well. Thought you'd be better
figured
than
we'll
just
scratch
yo
our,
with your woman having the NXT title now.
I figured we'll scratch our way through this conversation tonight.
First topic. Cry to your mama, punk ass bitch's return has been announced for the first episode of Collision.
You mean CM Punk?
Yes, exactly. That's exactly
He's
right.
coming back.
Yep. Joy to the world there, right?
Next topic.
You know, this week I actually been watching a lot of YouTube shorts. Those get kind of addictive, man. Time goes by, but I came across more than one video that had a lot of wrestlers talking about what a great guy CM Punk is and one of their favorite people and what a great guy outside of wrestling he is and everything. I was like stunned to hear this shit because I can't stand him.
Mm-hmm. Well, one more topic on that. Tony Khan's announcement today. Was it just me, or did Tony Khan get all kinds of boos when he made that announcement? You probably didn't see Jason, but I know Kingpin did.
It didn't seem to go over all that great. But
No, it didn't.
he had the advantage of all the crowd noise was the crowd noise outside in the crowd because backstage they got the different mic opened up, which is a complaint that I have highly about WWE. They do that quite often. They bleed the crowd noise over when they're trying to do an interview backstage before they cut the music off, and it just
While we're on the subject of crowds booing, again, Jason may not be able to answer this question, but you should be. Who do you think gets the louder boos, Dominic Mysterio or Don Callis?
I don't really think it's even a comparison. I think Dominic gets way. I think they were trying to boo Don Callis the way they do Dominic, but Callis is just good. Callis is a Dominic. I think Dominic thinks it's still funny because they're always laughing when it kind of happens. Uh, where Callis just pushed through it. He just started screaming and just got his point out when he could. You know what I mean? Where Dominic plays with the crowd a lot more, but I think Dominic's boos are considerably higher.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Watching Wednesday, if you'd have closed your eyes, you'd have thought Dominic was in the ring. I'm just saying, that was awfully damn loud.
But good. Don Callis has obviously been around a lot longer than Dominic. He's a much older man, but the mic presence is you could see the big gap in difference. Dominic's not bad on the mic. I don't think Dominic's bad at talking, but you just see how much more evolution into the game Don Callis has when they're
Oh
booing and
yeah,
he's able to fight back, and Dominic just can't fight back.
I wasn't talking about all that. I was just talking about who got the louder boos. I think they're as far as what you're saying. Yeah, Don Callis can handle it a lot better than Dominic can, but volume wise, man, that's awful damn close between the two of them.
It's fun. It's fun seeing that, especially since it's only focused on one person. Like if there was 3 or 4 guys that they were booing out like that, it get old. But and the longevity for Dominic, at least, the fact that they're still doing it now as heavy as they were before is pretty fun.
And what's even better is Rio's on the mic. Everybody's fucking cheering their heads off. As soon as Dominic grabs the mic, he doesn't even have to start saying anything. He just grabs the mic and it's instant. Yay! Boo! Super loud. It's freaking hilarious. And the look on his face every time it happens is like catches him off guard. You'd think he'd be expecting it by now.
I got a question about Dominic. He was well liked when he was in good graces with his dad, right?
Uh-huh.
Like he was the young boy and the people loved him. When they decided to make him a heel and use the turning point against Ray, and how they played it out the last couple of months, the end goal to make him a heel, boy, that paid off. I mean, that worked great. I mean, people hate him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's the epitome of that smart mouth young youth, rebellious child, all that wrapped into one, and you just want to smack the little fucker, man. So on that part, huge success with that, man. They pulled that off perfect. Frustrating to us, yes, but that's part of why we watch this, man. That's part of the entertainment, man. To love some and just to love to hate others.
And Dominic is on the list of the latter. To be honest, I wasn't that big a fan of his when he was tagging with his dad. I thought then they needed to put him through NXT or something,
Well,
but
you
they
know,
never did.
we only have so much room for heroes, right? And it's hard to come up with a new hero, but man, it's real easy and real satisfying to come up with something new to hate. You know what I mean? You kind of get bored without nothing new to hate. So they've done great with that character. Uh, Keep it up, and we'll keep doing it.
Well, speaking of hating, I don't know if you saw, Jason. Kingpin surely has the new undisputed Universal Heavyweight Championship belt. What are your thoughts on that, David?
It's just the other belt, but darker.
Oh, it's got gold.
I mean, I don't mind it,
Yeah.
but it looks kind of like the Universal belt, just dazzled up a little bit.
Yeah, it's basically took the diamonds out of the WWE, just made that like solid gold, and then he put like the rippled gold, almost looks like somebody online called it a Ferrero Rocher wrapper.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of what it looks like.
So why didn't Paul Heyman give over the other titles?
I don't know. I was wondering that myself.
I guess Roman's going to walk around with 3 of them now.
Or Paul Heyman's going to walk around with 2 of them anyway. He's like, mine, you can't have, my precious. I mean, he does look like a kind of like a fat golem. So. My precious, you can't have my precious. So I had to do a Lord of the Rings thing. You watch Paul Heyman when he's carrying him, that's what he looks like.
He told a funny story. He was somebody, I can't remember who he was the manager of, but they were the heavyweight champion at the time. And a part of his shtick was every time that the wrestler said, "I'm the heavyweight champion," Paul Heyman was to raise the belt up in the air. And he said this guy was on like a 10-minute promo, and he must have said that he's the heavyweight champion 50 times. Paul Heyman said he was about to pass out in the ring because the thing was like 30 pounds, and he had to keep just lifting it up. He said by the end of the promo, he thought he was going to have to go to the hospital.
That's funny. The only guys I can remember Paul Heyman managing were Lesnar, Rob Van Dam, and Roman.
It might have
Or
been.
that were world champion.
It might have been Van Dam. I don't know. But he said somebody was some type of champion, and he was the manager, and the belt was heavy.
Well, all those belts are heavy.
I got a little idea for the next topic.
Is it NXT related?
Well, kind of, sort of, because I was gonna. Jason said that he's been watching a little bit of stuff, and he could catch us up on what he's been watching.
Well, I watched NXT the other night and I enjoyed it. I don't remember a whole bunch of it. Uh, they got some hot ass fucking girls on that one. Uh, but I hadn't been able to watch any wrestling on TV in a long, long time. So I got to watch some there Tuesday night. It was pretty good.
Yeah, NXT's female roster is pretty stacked.
In more ways than one.
Oh, that yeah, but I meant the point me and Jason care about.
But it was pretty
That's what I'm
cool.
saying. In more ways than one.
I'm not sure of her name. You guys know what it is. The ladies champion over there. She came out.
That would be Mrs. Bowling.
Uh-huh.
Tiffany Stratton.
She came out the ring and told all the other wrestlers to come out there and celebrate with her. And they kicked her ass. I thought that was pretty good.
If she can get, uh, I thought that she had been around for a while. Like when she came back to NXT, she was like, "I'm back." So I was like, "Okay, she's back." But apparently, she's like only been wrestling for what 2 or 3 years now, right, Rich?
Yeah. Yeah, she had gotten hurt when she first debuted, so she had to take time away.
So hopefully, as she gets better in the ring, she'll get better on the mic. Because even if she's gonna play the Tiffany Stratton kind of bubble-headed blonde type of deal, she could do that. She's just got to get more fluent. She's kind of like she almost seems like she's nervous when she's in the ring doing a promo.
Yeah, I got a feeling if it wasn't for that, they would have, with the way Vince is before he had to surrender control and everything, she would have been fast tracked to the main roster if she were better on the microphone. Because she just fits Vince's ideal of what a female wrestler should look like.
Yeah, she's a young Charlotte Flair 10 times hotter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, extremely athletic with her gymnastics background and everything.
Yeah. Cora Jade with a black eye was pretty hot too.
I watched the NXT pay-per-view on replay from last weekend. And her match against, who was it, Valkyria? She ran circles around her in that match with her athleticism and stuff. It was crazy to watch.
That Valkyria is a tough one to watch, man. She's not good. Not good at all. But
That big chick is from Canada or whatever.
No, not
no,
not
Valkyria is
way
a
of Valkyrie.
short little brunette girl that pretends like she's a bird, kind of.
Mm. Man, she wrestled circles around her doing the backflips and stuff. It was crazy to watch.
Now, Hank and Tank. Hank Walker is the guy's name from NXT that looks like the Pineapple Express guy. And I think he's going to be good. I guess he's a rookie too, but he's got some real potential to become like a decent, like I don't know, strong man wrestler. Not like a Goldberg, but
Mm.
yeah, kind of like a Kurt Angle almost.
Mm-hmm. Too, I was impressed with during the pay-per-view, again, during the NXT pay-per-view, were the Creed brothers. Those two put a little bit more weight on the one brother. they're the Steiners reincarnated, man. The stuff they were doing in the ring against Gallus.
Yeah. They're not bad on the mic either.
No. They just got to get rid of the Diamond Mine trunks. I mean, the Diamond Mine guys, that's over. Roddy's not even in the promotion anymore. The leader of the faction ain't even there, guys. You're by yourselves. Get new trunks. Get new singlets. It's time to move on.
Kind of sticking with NXT a little bit. Indashir has been killing people on the main roster, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
And Pretty Deadly and Austin Theory are going to be the triples tag team when WWE gets one of them.
I don't think WWE's ever going to do that. Vince doesn't like tag teams as it is, and he's in the chairmanship. So I don't think they're going to be getting a trios title anytime soon. Well, as many times as Teddy Long, goddamn, was throwing people in random trios championship, trios tag matches back in the early 2000s, they may as well have. Teddy Long was trying to create his own trios division before that was ever heard of in the U.S. So I shouldn't say that because back in the day, the NWA had the World Six-Man Tag Team Champions. But yeah, I mean, Teddy Long was trying to bring that back all by himself. That or making people fight the Undertaker. Well, what do you think about Baron Corbin going down to NXT and challenging for the NXT title?
Well, there's two things I want about the NXT and the main roster guys. I'm not quite sold on Mustafa Ali yet. If he just went back to visit and he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna kick your butt if you're messing around with people down here," and so he's gonna be like, the kid that went back to visit his old football team and do the right thing, kind of, then I'm cool with that. If they sent him back down there to like become on the show and be a part of the show, that's not cool. I think they should have just left him. I think he's a main roster guy, and I think they should use him more. So if he's down in NXT just to be, visiting the old alma mater and seeing how everybody's doing, then that's fine. As far as Corbin goes, man, I feel bad for that guy. It's like, not only does he have to come down to NXT and sucker attack the champion, but Carmelo Hayes is gonna whoop him. And Carmelo Hayes is like comes up to like his knees.
Yeah, well, they thought the same thing that Braun Breaker was going to whoop on Dolph Ziggler too until Ziggler beat him for the NXT title.
Man, I don't know. If I was Corbin, I'd be pretty pissed off. I mean, I guess, work is work and some camera time is better than none when you're in that profession. So better off go to NXT than get fired. But man, that's for like thinking about his career, that really sucks that he's got to go down and do that. But what else is he gonna do? He's such a joke. Even the Miz is a joke on the roster, but the Miz can go in and have a good match, and almost like I thought the Miz was potentially gonna maybe be the Money in the Bank winner this year.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but The Miz did get beat in his match to determine who's going to be in the Money in the Bank match, right?
Who did he wrestle?
Who did he wrestle? I don't even remember.
Because I'm confused about that too, because I thought that the Miz lost. He
So did I.
Ricochet did. No, he beat Ricochet.
Ricochet won his
Nice.
match. Ricochet's in the Money in the Bank match because they said the Miz and Ricochet both qualified. I was like, wait a minute, the Miz lost his match. So you get where the confusion is. You're just as confused on this as I am. I could have sworn Miz lost.
All right, I'm looking up the results right here because that I was worried because they were talking about Shinsuke winning,
Yeah,
and
Shinsuke won and Ricochet won.
so I was confused because I can't even remember who the Miz wrestled now.
It was either Rick. No, who did Shinsuke win? Beat Shinsuke. God,
That was the big guy.
yeah, he beat Bronson Reed, and Ricochet beat the Miz. But yet Michael Cole kept saying the Miz qualified for the Money in the Bank match on Monday.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah. So he did wrestle Ricochet.
Yeah, and Ricochet won.
Okay. Well then,
I don't know what the hell Michael Cole was smoking.
you know, Corey Graves says it every episode, every show. Michael Cole, you're an idiot. Just let me talk. I like that Corey Graves guy now, man. Yeah, Ricochet versus The Miz,
Yeah,
May 29th. Yeah,
and Ricochet won.
did he?
Yeah, because he hit him with the move off the top rope for the pin.
Yeah. But even that, like, going back to the Corbin thing, like, I was sitting there watching that match, like, hey, are they going to give Miz a victory? What's going on here? But when I seen Corbin come in, I was like, that little tiny guy is going to beat the crap out of Joey Corbin.
Yeah, but I'm like watching SmackDown yesterday, or no, earlier today, because I always catch the replay. Because not having cable, I got to wait till they have the replay to where I can see it. And I'm thinking, I'm watching this. I'm like, why is Michael Cole saying the Miz qualified? Like, I could have sworn the Miz lost.
Vince, wake up, Vince. Write this down. Fire Michael Cole. Corey Graves can do it by himself.
Mm-hmm. Or get Vic Joseph from down on NXT and put him with Corey Graves. That would be a good duo. Send Michael Cole back to NXT.
I like listening to. It's hard to understand what Booker says half the time, but that dude, and Booker are really good together. They do a good job.
Booker's got to get a new catchphrase, man. That shucky ducky quack quack shit. That's got to go.
Especially because nobody under 40 has any idea what that means.
I don't know if Booker knows what it means. He just says it. Booker just says whatever pops in Booker's head. There's no filter between his mouth and his brain. That was established way back in WCW during a promo, if you recall the promo I'm talking about.
Yeah, the famous Hulk Hogan N-bomb.
Uh-huh. Exactly where I was going with that. Way back in the days of Harlem Heat. Hulk Hogan, we're going to get you. Beep. Yeah.
Okay, before we go any further, how about L.A. Knight? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a little concerned there, too, because I still feel like they want to make that Montez Ford a singles wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know if LA Knight was going to be able to beat him or not. But LA Knight's going to be your next contestant for the heavyweights. I don't know if they're going to put the title on him or not, but watch it, Seth Rollins. He's coming for you.
Ooh, LA Knight. LA Knight be the one to take the belt off of Roman.
That would be the building would explode. If
Oh, yeah. Dude, I don't know if you caught it. LA Knight was getting cheered. Montez Ford was getting booed.
Yeah. I was actually gonna bring that because I'm only familiar with the LA Knight that we see on the television now. So NXT, I didn't know he existed. I've only seen him wrestle 10 times, maybe. This dude is so over. Like
Hmm.
people on the internet, the internet shows that I watch are constantly like, if you don't put LA Knight on television, I'm gonna kill you. They like that dude, man. He's popular.
Oh yeah. The best part is his whole career he's been a heel.
Yeah, but he doesn't
He's a
have to not be. He could
yeah,
be the good guy heel.
yeah. He's the heel that everybody loves. If you watch why they cut him when they did when he was in NXT the first time boggled everybody's mind. The dude is just good on the mic and he can go in the ring. Before he even had the LA Knight character, I can't remember what the hell his name was when he was originally with the promotion. And then he went over to Impact and he made a name for himself over there after WWE cut him. Why they made that choice to cut him before is it's one of those things where you just look and say, out of all the guys you're going to cut that guy. You got to remember he's pushing 40 now, so he doesn't have much time left. So all the time they wasted by cutting him way back when, it's mind-boggling. It really, really is.
Yeah, he's good for television, man. They're foolish not to use him more.
Yeah, they were talking about it last night. The last three pay-per-views he wasn't on.
Yeah, and the internet was pissed about it.
Yeah.
The LA thing, dude, when he wasn't on the Los Angeles one, a lot of people on the internet were like, I quit watching wrestling. Screw this, man. I mean, they were talking
Mm-hmm.
trash pretty
Yeah, that
clearly.
was WrestleMania. You had two nights with WrestleMania in Los Angeles. The guy that's calling himself LA Knight, you couldn't find something for him to do.
Well, and it's not even that, is everybody was telling them, put LA Knight on television. I don't care about Hulk Hogan. I don't care about Roman Reigns. Cody Rhodes, who's that? Put LA Knight on WrestleMania. We want to watch it. We want to watch it. And they're not doing it.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Braun Breaker's another deal. People were pissed that Braun Breaker didn't get drafted. They were
Yeah,
like,
why
hey,
is he still in NXT? Bring him up, put him with Boogs. They're the new Steiner brothers.
the last rumor I heard about that was SummerSlam.
If they want to get Boogs over, put him with Breaker, have them be the new Steiner brothers, like I said, what was it, a week, 2 weeks ago? Have Boogs say that he's their cousin or some shit, right? That he's Braun's second cousin, twice removed, or some horse shit. Who knows? But have because he looks like he could be a Steiner the way he's built and facial features and the facial hair and everything that he's got. He looks kind of like Rick Steiner. Put him with freaking Braun when you first bring Braun up. Have them go on a tear and just destroy the tag team division. You'll get both of those guys over like Rover in no time.
Well, and you also have to let Braun Breaker be Braun Breaker. He's got to go in there, Brock Lesnar style, 100 miles an hour, military pressing three guys at one time. Just let him be him.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what the Steiners did. So I'm saying you put them in there, you let them go in there like the Steiner brothers tore through WCW's tag team division and WWF's tag team division. And you get both of those guys over in no time. In the way both of them are built and the way both of them look, it would be believable. I could see those two first match. Braun gets called up. First match, two of them take on KO and Sammy, just beat the holy hell out of both of them. Boom, they're made right there.
All right, any other topics before we move on to the inevitable topic?
what's the inevitable topic? Jimmy being
The
kicked
whole
out of the bloodline, and then Roman saying Jay's just gonna do like he always does and get in line.
yeah,
Come on, you know that's an inevitable topic to have to be discussed.
that was boring. Like the whole thing was just boring.
As soon as Solo crossed over, I knew damn well he was gonna goddamn hit the Samoan spike on him. I saw that coming a mile away.
You could feel the tension in the crowd. Like you knew the hug out was coming, and you knew that this was coming.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was sitting there watching, I was like, Roman's gonna walk over and hug him, and then he's gonna be like, you know, DDT or Stone Cold Stunner or something like that. And when they hugged, the crowd was just like, yawn. I was like, yeah, here it comes.
Mm-hmm. Well, they had just done it, what, a year ago with Finn and AJ? When AJ came out acting like he was wanted to join with Finn, and they hugged it out, and then AJ was like, but I wasn't talking about you, because he said about friends, and that's when Gallows and Anderson came out. So they had just done almost that exact same scenario with AJ Styles and Finn Balor a year ago. Yeah, so it's like, you knew that was going to be a bunch of bullshit. I mean, they even did the hugging, like what AJ and Finn did. Where AJ had the mic, and when they're hugging, he goes, "But I'm not talking about you." And that was the same thing. Roman hugged him, and it's like, then he says, "No." It's like, it was. That's one thing WWE does too often. They repeat things that they did not that long ago. Like people forget.
So what are they gonna do now? Is Jimmy out on his own? Is Jay gonna stay with him?
That's the question. That's the drama. Is Jay going to stay with Roman, or is he going to side with Jimmy?
Yeah, I know it's a question. I just asked you that
Yeah, I
question.
know.
I'm
But no, I'm
asking
saying
you.
that's the question that they're using to build up the drama.
Yeah, I know. And I just asked you that
Yeah.
question. So how about you answer?
I don't know what's going through their heads, especially Vince, if he's got anything to do with it. It could go either way.
What would make sense?
What would make sense in the ideal world is for Jimmy and Jay to stay together.
All
Does
right.
that necessarily mean that's what's going to happen?
No,
No.
that's the problem. Is
Mm-hmm.
the people are gonna get all jacked up and ready for Jimmy and Jay to be the LA Knight of tag teams. They don't have to be the good guys. They can just still be the bad guys. Everybody wants to cheer for them. They're dying to cheer for them. And Roman ruins it all. They can't cheer for Jimmy and Jay and Roman be standing there. So that being said, of course they're gonna break Jimmy and Jay up because everybody wants them not to.
Mm-hmm. How do you break up the Usos, the best tag team that WWE's had in quite a long time? How? I'll tell you how. Vince doesn't like tag team wrestling. That's how.
But that's yeah. There's got to be somebody sitting there like one of Vince's hot new young girlfriends is probably like, wait a second, Vince. You're the inheritance that you're going to leave me is getting stymied here. Why don't you take those two Uso boys and let people cheer for them? You get millions of dollars off of that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the Usos were over like crazy when they were baby faces. They're over as heels. You look at the bloodline. Who gets cheered when they come out? The Usos. Who gets booed? Roman. It's the. It's almost the same dynamic with Rhea and Dominic with Roman and the Usos.
You don't think they could keep them as a tag team and just have like a family split and play it off. The two brothers. One wants to go, one wants to stay. The one that leaves, the other brother like pulls out. Blood's thicker than water. Brothers is closer than cousins or whatever they are. So like the two brothers can split and just use the brother thing, or do you think you got to split them up?
It's not even that just that they're brothers; they're twin brothers.
That's the problem, Jason, is normal fans like us want the team to stay together and want what you're going to say. Want Jimmy and Jay to finally be like, no, we love each other more than anything. We're staying together. And then screw Sami Zayn. We're going to hit him with a chair, and everybody's going to be like, yes, I love you guys. You're
Well, see
mean
that.
and you're hateful, but we love you anyway.
See that. What about they pull off this twin connection thing, right? And like the one that don't want to leave, like they catch him backstage and they pull out a voodoo dude and they like hypnotize him or something. You know what I mean? And now he's like totally devoted to his brother, like a slave. Come out like a like a dark evil character or something, like a wrestling zombie or something under voodoo brainwashing.
Well, somehow Roman's got to their younger brother because remember, Solo is their younger brother, so he's already got one of the brothers in the corner.
Yeah, can't they pour like some voodoo blood juice or something down him? Like hell, they did to Indiana Jones.
Man, they're Samoan, Jason. They ain't Creole. Come on, man.
Papa Shango was close enough to Samoan to be an Uso. So that's all we need.
Now, Papa Shango's the Godfather. He gave up all that voodoo shit and became a pimp.
Well, the Samoans, they got their own voodoo that they do, right? Like witch doctors, headhunters, and shit like that, man.
It's
What
not
are
voodoo
you?
though. Voodoo,
You racist? Saying that?
they'd have to be from the Caribbean for it to be voodoo.
Close enough.
Yeah,
Close enough. One's in the Atlantic, one's the Pacific. Couldn't be farther apart. Two different oceans, man.
we're all stuck on one rock here, Rick or Rich. I mean, we're on one rock. It's a rickety rich rock.
I don't know. I was looking forward to it all week. Like Monday came around and I started watching. And I was like, wait a second. Halfway through the show, I was like, you're an idiot. Roman Reigns doesn't even come on Monday Night Raw. So then the rest of the week, I was like, man, I gotta wait till Friday. So I'm looking forward to watching this, and I'm like, man, this was dumb. Like they could have did better. I was disappointed.
Roman hasn't been on Raw since before WrestleMania.
Yeah, I figured that out around, like I said, about an hour in.
So, what do you think about Seth's first challenger being Damian Priest on Monday?
As a wrestling fan, I gotta say, and new Damian Priest the champion because, in my opinion, I'd book Damian Priest to grab him by his face and pull all his hair off the back of his head while he was digging into his eyes. But looking at the business, it's a pretty good move to start off this changing the game that Seth Rollins has been talking about to put somebody at the level of Damian Priest as your first title defense on national television. I think that's a pretty good move.
When was the last time the World Heavyweight title be it the WWE World Heavyweight Championship or the WWE Universal Championship, was even defended on regular television.
See, Seth is changing everything, man. He's giving us what we want. Yeah, that is a good match, those two guys. I think Seth will beat him. Uh, he's got to pull out some old, you know, tricky veteran fucking deal or a chair hidden underneath the mat, something. He'll find a way to win. And this will be the starting of his championship run here, man. You know what I mean? He'll just find a way to win.
Now, here's a question that was posed earlier by a cultaholic, and it made sense to me. What if there's not a clean finish, and this is the start of the feud that leads into Money in the Bank, which is on July 1st? And at the pay-per-view, you get the final match between those two that will actually decide who wins the belt.
I can see that. I've been watching like a lot of the ways that top-notch guys get beat, and it made me think of Roddy Piper because they always said Roddy Piper always protected himself. So like you see a bunch of matches against Hogan, hardly any of them ever finished. You know, it was always some type of disqualification count out or something like that. And they would always say that was so Piper could protect his character. You know, he didn't beat me.
Mm-hmm.
Damian Priest could go in and put on a good match and get disqualified because Rhea jumped in the ring or something like that or something crazy, and so that still protects his character. He didn't get beat, but Seth Rollins also didn't lose the title. And then, like you said, that leads to pay per view where he's like, "All right, I finally want my cage match" or something like that.
Yeah, I could see. I could. Yeah, that's why I posed the question, because I thought it would. It was like, yeah, it sounds like that could be the way they could go with it. It's with only having what, like 3 weeks, 4 weeks to build a show at this point. They would have a little over 3 weeks, a little under 4, to get to build that show up. So having Seth put out that open challenge, having Damian answer it, go with a non-finish, that could easily be the catalyst to build to a mini small quick feud between the two of them to set something up for the pay-per-view. And Damian Priest, he's got championship pedigree. The guy's former NXT North American champion, former US champion on the main roster. So the guy's just a big dude that can talk, and he's viable as a contender. And there's been a rumor that they want to push him more towards the main event scene.
Marketability is the key, and
Yep.
Damian Priest is covered in marketability.
Yeah, and they got to do something with him quick, because just like with LA Knight, the guy is 40 years old. He hasn't got a whole lot of years left. The average wrestler who's a main eventer who doesn't suffer any serious injury in their career, the average that they retire by is 40 to 45 years old. So he doesn't have much time left. So if they're going to do something with him, now's the time,
Seth Rollins could easily take, if he's going to stick with the open challenge thing, wrestle a Miz, wrestle Dillinger. What's the guy's name? There's the blonde hair guy.
Oh, Dolph Ziggler?
Dolph Ziggler. There's like 4 or 5 different guys on the roster that he could wrestle and have decent matches with on regular television to stack up his, title defenses too between pay-per-views.
Mm-hmm. And the thing about Dolph, he's probably the most versatile guy they have on the roster. That guy, and he is willing to do whatever it takes. They sent him down to NXT just to get Braun Breaker over more, you know. And he didn't complain, didn't yell, scream, or anything. He just went down here and did his job and collected a paycheck. He's not above putting somebody over like that if it comes down to it. People give him a lot of shit because of the way he sells and stuff, but he makes the other guy look good when he's doing it.
I don't know if it was you that said it, but somebody on the internet was talking about Dolph Ziggler. Might have even been Barbecue. But somebody had said something about he's such a good dude to have in the locker room. And this paraphrasing because you can put him up against the Miz and it's still a good match.
Mm-hmm.
And the next week you put him up against Brock Lesnar and people are still like, that's a good match and it's believable. Because whether or not, the new kid on the block, the Dundee guy, the little mean Irish guy that just came up from NXT, beats you up outside the ring, okay, that's cool. And then you're in a title defense, you're in a title match against Seth Rollins the next week. It's still believable. That's how good that dude is.
Mm-hmm. And he is if putting him in the ring with Seth, it works because he is a former world champion himself. He's a two-time, I believe, world champion. He's a Grand Slam championship holder, actually, because he's held the world title, the Intercontinental title, U.S. title, and the tag team titles. Just as much as The Miz has.
Well, and there's very few The Miz out there. And Corbin is finding out really quick. You get beat and you get dropped to the bottom of the roster, you get made fun of, and you're just the schlub, so we don't have to fire you. Miz kind of fell into that kind of cornball character and where he's at now, but people still love it. People absolutely still love it. They love seeing Miz get hit in the head by some girl or, have a good match against Ricochet.
Yeah, or yelling tiny balls at him.
Yeah. There's very few people in the entertainment world that can. There's not a whole lot of room for people like Miz. So when you're in there, that's pretty much all there is to it. So that's what makes me feel so bad about the Corbin guy is he pissed somebody off, and whoever's writing his script hates him.
Well, he doesn't have the charisma of The Miz or Ziggler either. So, I mean, The Miz, he can put on some boring matches, but the guy is extremely safe to work with, and he's extremely charismatic. And he puts that charisma to making everybody hate him. Yeah, he's got the same kind of charisma that we see in MJF. Only he's been doing it for much longer, and he's not as good in the ring as MJF, I would say. But he's got that same kind of. If WWE wasn't pandering to being a TV PG crowd, The Miz could easily be doing the same kind of promos that MJF does and make it believable. Because that's what The Miz's character is being an asshole that nobody likes. That's basically what MJF's character is, being an asshole that nobody likes. And ironically, gets people to like him in the process.
Yeah, and there's another very, very small minority of people out in any industry that can be so ignorant like MJF, but people just absolutely love it.
Oh my God, I just had a thought. If I don't see The Miz ever leaving WWE, but if he leaves WWE and goes over to AEW, or MJF leaves AEW and goes to WWE, imagine if they put the two of them together as a stable.
That would be interesting for sure.
Uh-huh.
So, what did you think? Did you watch the AEW? Apparently, right?
Yeah.
What did you think of the Chris Jericho match?
The intergender, or not the intergender, the mixed tag.
Yeah,
It was all right. I mean, I've seen better mixed tag matches before, but the right team got the win. I'll say that much.
it seemed like the Soraya chick was trying. I don't know that she did anything that like the prodigy that she's supposed to be. I think has long since passed her career.
Oh hell yeah!
But
Well, the first night when she got called up from NXT and won the WWE Women's Championship, or the Divas Championship at the time, that pretty much, her ship was full sail at that point. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But I still think they're trying to take it easy on her, because I still think that in the back of their minds there's some concern about her neck issues.
yeah.
I don't think she's wrestled anybody since she came back that wasn't named Britt Baker.
No, I think she had a match. Yeah, she had one match against somebody. And then I'm pretty sure, like a minute into the match, the other two girls came in and just kicked the crap out of her, and then they spray painted her.
Maybe, but I mean, full length match. I don't think she's
Yeah,
had a
like
full length
Britt
match
Baker is
against them.
like her entire uh, post injury career.
I think Britt is the only person that she's had a full length match against. Her first match, that was Soraya's first match back, was against Britt Baker.
Yeah,
But everybody says Britt is an extremely safe worker, so I mean, makes sense. You put her with the safest worker you have to get her some reps, and just keep that feud going and slowly work her back in, which I think is what they're doing. They're slowly working her back in to see if she's capable of doing it.
I think Britt Baker is going to go down in wrestling history like a Sting, and I say that meaning everybody on the planet's going to know who she is. Everybody on the planet's going to have a bunch of respect for her, and everybody on the planet's going to be happy that they worked with her. Now,
Mm.
she might not be uh, as popular as Sting, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, that's saying quite a whole lot. I'm not trying to say that. But the respect that she's going to have and the uh, household name, I guess is a good way to put it.
Mm.
She'll definitely be a household name.
It's going to be hard. It's harder with female wrestlers because they tend to retire sooner than males. We were just talking about the average age for a male wrestler who doesn't sustain any really serious injury is 40 to 45 before they retire. Women, it's 30.
Well, they
So
meet Michael Cole and start pumping babies out. Can't wrestle.
Adam Cole, not Michael Cole. Don't curse her with that.
Oh, jeez, jeez.
I'm sitting here saying, huh?
Right last name, wrong first name by a lot.
Michael Cole, baby.
Who knows? That may happen before it's over with. I mean, it's happened with others. Uh, Ty Conte, or whatever she goes by now, with her. Look at the announcement her and Sammy made before the world title match.
Who's that other blonde haired chick that used to wrestle all the time that's not Liv Morgan?
Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, she's
Uh,
supposed. There, something about she may be pregnant too.
yeah, that's what I had heard last is that She beat cancer, then cancer came back, then she beat it again,
Hmm.
and then now she's rumored to be having some babies.
Yep. That's what they briefly touched on Cultaholic earlier today. I think it was today. It might have been yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday.
Ah, how about what was worse than the Roman Reigns Jimmy Uso thing? The Grayson Waller effect.
Oh, good lord. Yeah, this is what we needed. Two Japanese chicks to come out and yell at each other in Japanese. I mean,
I,
don't get me wrong. I'm all for Asuka versus Io Sky, but goddamn, get a translator. Where's Shinsuke when you need him? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
how
that's
do
right.
you know what
Traded
to
him to
think?
Raw.
the Io Sky I like better than I like Asuka, and I'd be cool with her being a champion. I'm not really 100% sure that I like her character because sometimes when she goes "Ooga jooga jooga, ooga jooga jooga," like she's like a Mickey Rooney pretending to be a Japanese person in the 30s.
Mickey Rooney and Breakfast and Tiffany's. Is that what you're saying?
I'm like, sometimes she does it, and I'm like, that was great, I love that. And then a second later, she'll do that, and I'll be like, man, don't ever do that again.
Man, if I'll tell you this, if they put the two of them together in a ring, and the two of them have matches against each other like they had over in Japan, oh boy, is it they're gonna tear the roof off. The two of them, I don't know where to even tell you to look, but if you can find matches where Io Shirai, which is her real name, versus Kana, which was the name that Asuka used in Japan, you find some of the old video of the two of them, the matches that they had over there. I'm telling you guys, Japanese women's wrestling is a lot different than WWE women's wrestling. The two of them would beat the holy hell out of each other. You know the match we watched with Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay?
Yep.
They had that kind of a match between the two of them, where you're wondering how either one of them could walk afterwards. You don't see that kind of match in WWE. But if they let them go out there and have that kind of a match, they're going to tear the roof off the place.
Here's a prediction for you. Tony Stark's tears Natalia's head clean off her shoulders in about 10 seconds, and then starts a feud with Becky Lynch.
I think that's where they're already heading with that.
Yeah.
Anyway, they had her side with Trish. And by the way, it's Zoe Stark, not Tony Stark.
Whatever.
You're just all wrong with the names tonight.
I got a
So
friend.
I knew who you were talking about this.
I got a friend,
The
and
Iron Bitch.
he's a dude, and he's not gay or nothing. This isn't political at all. This isn't social or nothing. This is just the weirdness of something. If you took Zoe Stark and gave her like a boy's haircut, she'd be my friend, 100%. Like the headshot, twins. I was looking at it when I first started seeing her on the television. I was like, man, that's familiar. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, wait, she looks like dude. I pulled up a picture of her on my phone and walked over to my boy over here. And we've been friends for 30 years. So he's known this guy longer than he's known me. I stuck the phone out to him. I said, before I show you this, I said, say the first name that comes to your mind. And as soon as I showed him the phone, he said this person's name. It's so weird. Watching Zoe Stark makes me so uncomfortable on television.
Damn it, don't you hate that?
I mean, they're twins, dude. I don't have a picture, and I'm obviously not going to say the person's name, but man, they look exactly the same.
Maybe she's his long lost daughter that he doesn't know about.
Funny you mentioned that because he is known for spreading the babies around town.
Oh God.
Hey, hold on here before you say anything. I'll remind you, we don't speak ill of the family around here.
Mhm.
Well, it's good because he wasn't much of a family man. He just got a bunch of girls pregnant.
And speaking of long title reigns, to bring back around to that, Austin Theory with his prediction of 4,000 days. Over under on that happening.
Oh, way under.
I'm taking the over. Who's going to beat him?
You've been drinking the Kool-Aid again?
No, I'm just thinking about it from the marketing standpoint. Who are they going to put up to beat him? Boogs? You're going to put the title on Boogs?
Is
You
Boogs
know,
on SmackDown or is he on Raw?
it don't matter. I'm just talking about anybody on the roster.
No, he's on SmackDown because they just did that angle with him and LA Knight.
Now, I like your idea of LA Knight and the Roman Reigns thing. I think that's a little bit far fetched, but LA Knight cashing in on Austin Theory is not completely out of place.
Mm-hmm. Who was it on Raw? They had Gunther come out and basically tell them if they won the Money in the Bank, that Gunther wanted them to challenge him. Who the hell was it?
Yeah, I remember that now. Oh, it was Bro.
Was it?
Yeah, it was Bro.
But
Speaking of bros, every single time I see Orange Cassidy, I think of my bro Jason. He stood up in the middle of the ring the other
Oh,
day
man.
and flicked his hair back and put his hands in his pocket, and I was just like, Jason would punch you right in the face.
I'd fucking shoot both his hands. I'd shoot him in both hips. Right in the front.
don't know why Jason hates Orange Cassidy so much. Jason's like
I,
the one guy
it's,
that
it's, it's, I hate to be mean about it, but well, it's the skinny jeans for one. And it's, just his fucking face, man. I just don't fucking like him, man. I can't stand him.
you know how bad it is that Jason
He looks
doesn't.
like a tanned Q-tip stuck in some skinny jeans, man.
You know how bad it is that you don't like Orange Cassidy. You guys remember Ellis? Ellis was all about the old '80s wrestling. Didn't like the new wrestling. You know who his favorite wrestler was getting to be? Orange freaking Cassidy. Me and him used to talk about that all the time before he disappeared. But Orange was like,
I
he's been
can't
watching
stand
Orange
it, man.
Cassidy matches, and he was just loving Orange Cassidy.
Wrestling's about your wrestling tights or your wrestling shorts, your outfit, your boots. Your outfits is as much your personality as your character as anything, man. Everybody's like equipped for the professional job. The motherfuckers wearing faded skinny jeans and some tennis shoes, man.
Those
Come
are
on,
his
man.
wrestling
This
fights,
isn't
man.
this isn't like the homeless wrestling network. Uh, I can't stand him, man. Just can't stand him. I can't believe he's the champ and they're letting him ride and everybody bowing to him, man. I can't stand him, man.
Everybody except you loves the guy, Jason.
You know what, man? If he jaywalked in front of me and I smashed him with my fucking piece of shit truck, I would hop out and say, "Dude, look what you fucking did to my truck."
Yeah, wait a minute. A couple minutes ago, Rich, you said that you don't know why Jason doesn't like Orange Cassidy. I think Jason's made it clear over the weeks why he doesn't like doing that.
It's just his fucking face, man. We
That was one of those rhetorical things, Kingpin. It wasn't actually asking for an answer. I know why. Just pushing buttons, you know.
You know what, man? If the motherfucker could be a great person, like if we were standing there and a building was on fire and the motherfucker ran into that raging fire and came back out and saved a dozen kittens, I'd tell that motherfucker there's still one left.
Look at that, Rob D right there. He says if Jason doesn't like him, he can't be good. And you know Rob D would never sell a lie.
Shit. If Rob D would sit down and watch wrestling with us, he would like Orange Cassidy.
I don't know, man. If Orange Cassidy would lose the sunglasses, lose the hair, definitely get into the wrestling gear, not the fucking skinny jeans. I don't know, man. If he had a character like that, maybe I wouldn't be as irritated. But I just don't like him and like the surfer boys, man, and like the skateboarder boy, the barefoot motherfuckers and shit. I just don't like any of that, man. This is like dress like a wrestler, man. Act like a wrestler. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't like Bro. I tolerated him when he was with Randy Orton.
That's the only time he was ever any good was when he was with Randy Orton.
And I don't like Darby Allin.
No, I don't get the Darby Allin thing.
I said, what else did we cover? Anything else? I mean, clearly, everybody knows it's Tiffany time. So she's going to be the longest reigning champion of all time. Paul Heyman's going to come to NXT and hold all her titles for her. Uh,
I don't know. That might be a little creepy.
what's Corbin going to do after he loses to Carmelo Hayes?
Money in the Bank. He'll probably put him in it again.
Yeah.
And he's won it once. Failed
Yeah.
to cash in, but he's won it once.
Rob said, I only enjoy watching girls wrestling, preferably in my bed. We'll make sure we tell his best girl about that.
Mm-hmm.
Monday Night Raw we covered. SmackDown we covered. AEW we covered.
Okay. Question. This goes back to a text you sent me earlier in the week. Is Bandito the strongest pound per pound wrestler in professional wrestling right now?
I think it's pretty close, man. There's a couple of those dudes that are kind of small that are super strong, but that Bandito guy's doing some crazy stuff. The 60-second suplex was
Yeah, I don't know what's more impressive, him holding the guy up for 60 seconds or the other guy maintaining his balance for 60 seconds in that position.
they need to save the 60-second suplexes for singles matches. Because having guys run all around and not knock the two dudes over is a little bit kind of weird, but it was fun that they did it once.
Oh, he does that in his solo matches.
Yeah, it's for a minute. That's a long time to be standing there.
Oh, I know. He in Best of Super Juniors a few years ago, before COVID, over in New Japan, he did that for like a minute and a half to somebody in the tournament. Dude is just crazy strong for light heavyweight, dude. It's just crazy. And he doesn't just do it to little guys either.
Well, that's his problem is he's not very tall. So getting a lot of these bigger guys and that press over his head, there's a lot more work involved into it for a short man than it would be for a taller guy. And I get it. They're gymnasts, so they jump up in the air and help and do their best with their own body weight. But once you're on somebody's head and they just push you up in the air and you weigh 260 pounds, that's a lot. And there aren't very many people on the planet that can press 260 pounds over their head.
No, it's just like you said, he's a little guy. He's in the high flyer division essentially, and he's doing super strength moves. And there's not a whole lot of people in that division that can do the moves like he's doing.
Yeah, he's big. I'm gonna guess he's 6 foot tall, and I'm gonna guess he's 220 pounds.
Yeah, he's
So
about
it's not
220.
like it's not like he's 6'8", 400 pounds either.
Mm-hmm.
All
So I'm
right,
saying
Rob,
there's
take
not a
care,
lot
man.
of guys his size doing that shit.
Thanks
See
for
you, Rob. Have a good one.
speaking,
Later,
man.
I mean, you expect to see that kind of move from like Cesaro, Bobby Lashley, um, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus. You don't expect somebody the size of Bandito to come out to the ring and do that kind of stuff. And yet he does it on a weekly basis. He's gorilla press slammed guys with one arm.
Yeah, he did that like 2 or 3 weeks ago on AEW.
Yeah,
He had a guy up, and the guy jumped up, and he was sitting on his head, so it's not like one clean, clear motion uh, like a gymnast or something like that. They got the guy up on top of his head and then just pushed him up with one hand. And then he tried it again in the match, and I don't know if he just couldn't make it or if they were acting that he couldn't make it. So,
that was when he was acting like he had hurt his arm earlier in the match.
right, yeah, we talked about that match. You saw the match.
Yeah. Yeah, unlike Bianca, he didn't drop him on his head. That was Io. She did that too, wasn't it? Dropped her right on her face.
Yeah. So what are they going to do with her? I mean, if Io Sky is the next contestant for the belt, then Bianca's just thanks for coming by.
Yeah, basically. Well, they might do a triple threat because if you remember when Asuka was being helped to the back by the officials, Bianca came out and jumped her.
That's right. Yeah, I forgot that part.
So yeah, they could end up doing a triple threat with those three, which I wouldn't be opposed to that either, as long as Bianca doesn't win. I am so over her as champion.
Yeah.
They strung that out too long with her. There really wasn't any story to it. Like with Roman with the 1,000-day reign, whether you like the story or not, at least there was a story. Bianca's story was just, hey, I'm Bianca and I'm the champion. There was no real story there.
And when you put the timelines together, Roman Reigns' title defenses, whether clean or not, were all murderers. Bianca is on the female roster, and she was only champion for a year. So who'd she beat? Uh, Scoochie, who's a little green haired girl. What's her name? Scoochie that rides in the.
Oh, Shotzi.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shotzi, who lost her last name when she moved up to the main roster. NXT, it was Shotzi Blackheart. They had her drop the Blackheart part when she got to the main roster for whatever reason. That's a Vince thing. Like, it's either you lose your last name or your first name.
Yeah, but something that I would respect if she came out in like the Barbie Hot Wheel Power Wheels car or the Jeep or something like that instead of that stupid tank that she rides.
Mm-hmm. Well, the tag thing, I don't even remember her having that in NXT. I think that was a main roster thing. I don't remember her doing that in NXT. NXT, she was just like the crazy headbanger chick.
Clearly, AEW is PG-17. I'd say, yeah, if that's even a thing.
It's a more mature audience that they're geared towards, obviously.
WWE is trying to be G-rated and R-rated at the same time,
Uh-huh.
and it's not. They're gonna have to do something about that. Take the stupid tank and the makeup off half your wrestlers, and let them just be normal people. I don't know.
Well,
Even you can even have your characters, but like the crazy little girl that runs around, screaming at people because she took her Superman cape off. Oh man,
that's what her character was before she was the superhero. And Nikki Cross was always like she was a little unstable. That was always her character. And then for some reason, when they put her with Alexa Bliss, and being with Alexa Bliss, she started to become saner. And then all of a sudden, she went crazy in a different route and thought she was a superhero. And turned heel as a superhero. She was the superhero, didn't realize that she was the super villain, apparently. Or some stupid shit. But with Shotzi, I don't think it's possible for her to be a normal person when she looks like the circus freak show tattooed woman. I mean, there's that aspect.
look, Vince. I know that you left the whole thing to me in your will, so just when you die, I want you to understand I'm firing half your employees.
Shotzi walked into a tattoo parlor and the tattoo artist said, "What do you want?" And she just pointed to the wall. I think she's got more tattoos than Brody King does.
Not over. I don't. It's not a deal breaker for me, but a woman with excessive tattoos is pretty close to a deal breaker for me. Uh, a woman with some tattoos, depending on where they are and what they are, yeah, I'm not. I'm not really for the tattoos on your neck and on your face and all over your hands and all that kind of stuff.
Honestly, I think her and Rhea Ripley are trying to have a contest to see who can get the most tattoos. Probably goes back to when they were both in NXT.
Who's she wrestle next?
Who's who wrestle next?
Rhea Ripley.
The way they were going on Raw, Seth Rollins. Honestly, I don't know if they got somebody lined up for her yet, because she was more involved with the feud with the guys this past week than she was setting up her own. I'll tell you who it ain't going to be: Natalia.
Yeah, no, Iron Man's got that covered.
Yeah, I don't know who they're going to put Rhea in the ring against next.
What'd you think about that big white girl on AEW wrestling?
What big white girl?
I don't know what her name is. The one that just came back with the beat Jade Cargill.
Oh, Chris Statlander.
Yeah, she had a match the other day.
Yeah, I did on Rampage. I haven't got a chance to check out Rampage yet, so I don't know what happened.
No, I think she was on the regular show, the Wednesday show.
Was she?
I think so.
She talked. She had a promo on Dynamite.
I think
Did she have a match?
Nia Jax.
Oh, I didn't watch the match. I skipped it. Nyla Rose, the dude.
Right.
Nyla Rose, Jason. If you want to see what a real tranny looks like, Nyla Rose is a tranny.
What?
Yeah, Nyla Rose is an actual tranny.
What?
Oh yeah.
How you spell this?
Nyla Rose.
Okay. Nyla. What's the last name? Oh, okay. Nyla Rose, American professional wrestler.
Yeah.
Oh. There's a lot of ribs right there.
Now, you know, she was a member of a wrestling forum that I belonged to before she got signed to AEW. That's how I know.
He?
He. That is a he.
Okay, let's see what Wikipedia has to say about
Man.
this. 40 years old?
We'll have to make sure that we don't pay for any of the I'm not I don't need to pay for any of their pay-per-views if that thing.
According to Wikipedia, Rich is correct.
What?
Kingpin is stunned. He thought Nyla Rose was actually a woman. Nope. Nyla Rose is a transsexual.
And let's be clear. It's not like I was fooled. I just didn't think about why would you do that?
It says became the first openly transgender wrestler in history to sign with a major American promotion when signing the AEW in 2019.
At least it's a sport where nobody's gonna get hurt. And what the hell? Barbecue is in the house. Good to see Guns and Barbecue out there.
Barbecue.
This is a sad moment, boys. Sad moment. Yeah, I guess.
I thought we've talked about this before on this show.
Yeah, this is not just a girl, a pretty big girl. Yeah, man. Why'd they have to go and do that?
They wanted to beat the WWE to something.
So they might as well let Chris Jericho punch Britt Baker right in the face. And they might as well let Solo Sikoa spike Rhea Ripley finally.
I'm just waiting for the day where they finally let one of the guys punch Rhea. You know it's coming, right? Good Lord.
It seems like they're leading that way. There's always been, the girl getting involved, the guy threatening, and then something happening.
Mhm.
Well,
But
shit, I just see it the other day. Stone Cold fucking and guys like fucking beat the shit out of Lita back in the day. Remember that? Like stunned her and took a fucking chair to her and shit. Uh, yeah, man. So
On the independent scene, when you get outside at WWE, AEW, Impact, in Ring of Honor, which basically is AEW anymore, you'll have the men taking on women in the matches, normal matches. You'll have what they call an intergender match. They do it a lot in Mexico. In Lucha Libre, you have the men taking on women. So, I mean, outside the major promotions,
who was that
it's
last?
not unheard of.
Who was that last wrestler we just mentioned? Rose.
Nyla Rose.
Nyla Rose. Well, see, you get everything in one package right there.
it's not unconceivable to have WWE where Rhea Ripley gets in the ring and Solo Sikoa spikes her.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
back in the day, China was the Intercontinental Champion.
Right. They could easily mix. I'm not. They definitely should not, because China's not Rhea Ripley. Let's make that really clear. Uh, None
China.
of the women in the roster on any of the shows need to be in a match with any of the men at all. If Rhea Ripley wants to get involved, and Dominic Mysterio gives her the 619 one time, that's all fine and dandy. Putting them in matches together and then having Rhea Ripley beat Roman Reigns. What's she going to beat Roman Reigns? She's going to beat Austin Theory, LA Knight, Montez Ford? She's going to beat Finn Balor? No, come on.
Well, Finn's not the biggest guy in the world.
You seen that the men and the women played some soccer thing, and the people on the internet were talking about the men beat the girls 12-0.
Well, the U.S. women's soccer team got beat by a high school boys team, so
Yeah, Rich, that's different, Rich. That was 15-0.
Barbecue's like, no, Link, I see how it is just because I'm blind or because I'm trans.
Would you
No,
imagine
because
what
somebody
the
had told me you quit doing shows, so I didn't think to send you an invite.
Would you imagine what the basketball score would be if you took the basketball NBA champions and had them play the women's NBA championship? Could you imagine how bad that would be?
There- There's local county schools around here with white boys. We'll just go ahead and say that would smoke professional basketball player females. And if we want to go down into like the major collegiate schools where a lot of the, you know, 14-year-old black kids are 6'3" already, they wouldn't even stand a chance.
Remember, Rob's long lost brother plays in the WNBA.
Rob's long lost brother
Uh
plays in
huh.
the NBA,
Yeah,
women's
remember
NBA.
Brittany Griner?
Oh, Brittany Griner.
Remember the picture from the showed you guys from when she was flying back from Russia? It's just like Rob sitting.
Yeah, I remember
Do
now.
we do we
I
want
wonder
to
what's going on with the Russian fucking international guns dealer that we traded for. I wonder how he's doing right now.
Who knows?
Do you want to send barbecue a link?
Yeah, if you want to forward it to him, go ahead.
All right, I'll send you an email there, barbecue, if you're still out there. Let's see. Let's go forward this one right here. And let's look up Mr. Guns and Barbecue. There you go, barbecue. On the way.
I'm trying to remember what forum that was that I would go on with the wrestling, and that Nyla Rose was a member of it. This was years ago. It might have been Cage Side Seats. It might have been the one, which is run by Fox, so it's no surprise there that you have a tranny on Fox run site. But it's one of the few wrestling forums that were around.
My parents, like a year or so ago, found Fox on their TV channel. Well, I don't know whichever company they got, but apparently that this channel couldn't hold, so they changed it, this, that, and this, that, and then Fox became the channel. And there's another Vice News. They teamed up with Vice News, and they did some documentary about something, and my parents watched it, and they were like, "Oh, that's pretty good. Oh my gosh, those guys are good." And I was like, "Well, yeah, but they're all commies." I said, "It just happens to be that this one report that they did, they happen to tell the truth once in a while." And they're like, "No, they seem to be nice." And about 2 weeks later, my dad was like, "I'm not watching that Vice channel no more."
You know who helped start Vice News and then left because they wouldn't listen to him?
What's that?
I said, do you know who helped start Vice News, but he left because they wouldn't listen to him?
Guns
One
and
of your,
Bucks.
no, one of your favorite people on YouTube, Tim Pool.
Oh, jeez.
He was the guy that Vice hired when they wanted to start a news division, and he left because everything that he said that they shouldn't do, they went and did anyway. He was telling them, you can't go full left. You can't go full left. You're going to lose viewers. Nobody's going to want to watch. And they went and did it anyway.
Yeah, so did Tim.
No. Have you watched his shit lately?
No, of course not, because Tim's a commie.
Oh, dude. Tim is changed a lot.
Right, yeah. Oh, I know Tim Pool's changed a lot right now because the algorithm is in his favor. And as soon as
Have you seen the guests he's been having on? He
Yeah,
just had Donald Trump Jr. on there.
and he supported Bernie Sanders 2 years ago.
No, he didn't. He voted for Trump 2 years ago.
Okay, 3 years ago. I'm sorry.
He's planning on voting for Trump again.
Yeah, I'm cool without Tim Pool. He can vote for whoever he wants to.
I'll watch his podcast every so often, depending on who the guest is. The show that he had Donald Trump Jr. on there was actually pretty good.
He lives basically between us.
Yeah, he lives over in Harper's Ferry.
Yeah.
I think he does the show out of Montgomery County somewhere, the studio there.
You should watch Hard Bastard, not Tim Pool.
Who says I don't watch both?
Hard Bastard.
Subscribe to both.
Hard Bastard watches Tim Pool every day, so.
The trainees have been invaded.
I like to self-identify as an alien. Not the illegal kind or anything like that. The kind from outer space.
The Mars kind, not the Mexico kind.
Yeah, I'm gonna get one of those surgeries where I don't have a belly button soon. No, not really. No, that's just.
All you gotta do is get a tummy tuck.
Weird. I need something like that done. Say, I look like a friggin' flying squirrel right now.
I don't know if you guys remember the story a couple years ago. The woman was suing her plastic surgeon because she didn't realize getting a tummy tuck would eliminate her belly button. She didn't listen to the plastic surgeon when they told her that we'll go in and do that later after you heal. So she tried suing her plastic surgeon for not having a belly button after having a tummy tuck. This is just some of the random shit that floats around in my head when things remind me of it.
You can feel comfortable identifying as an outer space alien barbecue because, is it the Islam guy? What's the black guy from Islam? Louis Farrakhan, didn't he say white people came from outer space?
Yeah, who knows?
Or did he say white people came from caves?
I have no idea what the hell Farrakhan says. Don't pay attention to him. The funny part is actual Muslims don't like the Nation of Islam. So figure that out.
The funny part is the N-word that actual Muslims like to call black people that nobody wants to talk about.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you look in Hadiths, Muhammad was not fond of black people. He called Ethiopians raisin heads, for crying out loud.
Nice.
It's right there in the Hadiths.
Raisin heads.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I could possibly get behind this whole Islam thing. Just because, I mean, that's a really funny slur.
It is.
I'm not saying it's right or anything. I'm just saying it's funny.
It is funny.
Got to give credit where credit's due. So, wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what's on your mind, man?
Oh, I'm gonna say I was coming in here to take over the show or nothing.
No,
you guys are having a pretty good chit chat going on there.
Have you watched any lately?
Jump right in, man.
Just highlight reels, things like that. The typical stuff that I get to catch. I was actually hoping to get into one of these recently, just because, man, some of the stuff I've been getting to see in the highlight reels and whatnot, I've just like amazing. Friggin', first off, MJF continues to absolutely slay it. He's got to be him or Paul Heyman. That's so hard to say who's the best on the mic right now. I mean, I guess right now, because Heyman, I don't think does that much on the mic right now. He doesn't have to. So I think MJF takes it as a whole. But then you got Cody Rhodes. His whole body of work. Is he best in the world right now?
No.
No?
No.
Who am I missing?
I'm not a fan of Cody.
Oh my gosh.
I cannot. I want to, but I just. I just can't get behind him.
Since you said you've been out of the loop for a little while, barbecue, I'll catch you up real quick. Here on the wrestling chat in the loop, Cody Rhodes has not been favorable in that loop.
Oh man,
no.
It's a shame I have not been here. Then that's why you guys got nobody watching, because you're hating on Cody Rhodes. And say it's all right. I'm going to bring everybody here. And say next week this show will go aluminum.
I just can't get. Like I said, I want to, but God, it's just like he's trying too hard to be his dad, and he's not his dad.
I didn't think he was trying hard. Like,
dude, have you seen the story with him and Lesnar? It's the freaking hard time shit that his dad did with the
100%. I don't think that's him though. I think that's just.
No, he's got creative control. That was one of the terms of him signing with WWE. He has creative control.
I think creative control is the extent of him saying no Stardust. At the end of the day, I think he sat down with Vince and Hunter, and they said, How's this?
Well, Vince, according to the reports, Vince has nothing to do with his storyline. Anything that's come up with is him and Hunter.
So,
and Hunter was a big Dusty. Remember, Hunter's a big Dusty Rhodes fan.
Yes, I think
they're trying to redo Dusty's greatest hits with Cody, and it's not working.
I'm
just not buying it.
I think that's what they're doing too, which would make sense why he lost to Reigns at Mania. Which on one hand, if they were gonna have him win the title, that was the time to do it. He was white hot. Him or Zayn, if either one of them were ever gonna beat Reigns, Zayn doing it in Canada, holy shit, that would have been absolutely friggin' nuts. I can't even imagine what that would have been like. Likewise, Cody doing it at Mania. Again, both of those guys were white hot. I understand that they wanted to hit the 1,000-day mark, so I get it. With that, it makes sense what they're doing now, because one, where do they go with Roman from here?
LA Knight wins Money in the Bank and cashes it in on him.
Oh my god, that friggin' LA Knight Rollins segment, holy shit. That was, oh my god, friggin' that Money in the Bank briefcase just better be filled with money, and give it to them both, because wow, that was great.
Rollins is the WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
Yes.
He won the new big gold.
Yep.
Which you haven't been on since they debuted that belt. What are your thoughts on that belt?
I haven't gotten a good look at it. So I don't know if somebody can screen share it for me. That'd be great. But yeah, I have not gotten to take a good peek at it.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Might as well pull up Roman Reigns' new belt while you're at it, Rich.
Oh, God, no.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that they just showed that on Friday. I didn't get to see that yet.
Okay, you've seen the WWE Championship. You've seen the Universal Championship. You've seen the new one. All they did was give it a gold background.
Oh.
It's the same belt.
It's so friggin' dumb. Honestly, I was hoping that they would do the belt that, Cody had wanted, if he would have won at Mania, and then have Roman kind of tie that in.
There was rumors that they wanted to do the Big Eagle, but they couldn't get the rights to use it on TV from the guy who owns the rights to it.
Oh, come on. They just signed, friggin' 20 million, 14 million, something like that. It's stupid fucking money. You can't, billion dollar friggin' deal. You're telling me you can't throw that guy, a couple million, a few tens of millions, whatever, to friggin' get that? It's going to pay for itself.
Well, apparently the guy wanted too much money was the issue. Anyway, you seeing that? Can you make that out?
Let me blow up my screen here. I'm so sick of this fucking company branding on everything.
Well, they're gonna do that. That's the thing. They're gonna have their branding.
We know who the fuck it is.
Can you see the detail around that barbecue, or is that pictures good enough? What?
We know it's the WWE. When we see that belt, what show are we watching? Oh, we're watching this fucking show. I mean, granted, we could be showing it online right now. Oh, whose belt is that? Well, fine, but chances are, if it's in a photo like that, there's probably going to be a fucking watermark somewhere.
I think that belt looks pretty cool, man. It looks better than that one that had like the blue W on it. It looked like Wonder Woman or something.
Yeah, it looks better than the belt that a Roman has. I'll tell you that much. So that's that one, and then how to use this thing.
But yeah, I like I was saying. So like, what are they going to do with Roman? You know, do they go and hope The Rock can go at Mania this coming year? You know, which at this point, does anybody care if The Rock does? At this point, you know, like if it would have happened last year, awesome, cool. I'd have been excited. I mean, I didn't get to watch Mania anyways, but goddamn power outages. But at this point, you know, it's been teased so many times that hey, you know, we're trying to get The Rock, and then it doesn't happen because of The Rock's schedule, which I understand. The guy's busy, but you can only tease that so many times and have it not work out.
Yeah.
And at this point, I don't give a shit.
There's the new belt that Roman has. And you can see Paul Heyman in the background with the old two. It's the old two with the gold background.
I kind of don't like that one. The other one looked a lot better.
And they changed out instead of being like diamonds on it, it's black stones instead of diamonds. So,
I don't understand why they went to a single belt for him. He's supposed to be the undisputed champion, you know.
Well, that's what it says. It says undisputed champion on it now. But even then, it's not undisputed because you got Seth Rollins on Raw with a different world title.
Exactly. And the visual of Heyman walking around with 2 world straps on him. You know, just that visual alone. And then you're just going to take it back down to 1.
Right now, they got it at 3 because they gave Roman a 3rd belt and didn't take the other 2 away yet.
Yeah, technically, there are 4 world championships running around WWE right now, not counting NXT or the Intercontinental Championship. Because if you stop and think about it, Intercontinental would be in the entire planet.
Yep.
So technically speaking, the Intercontinental title, I think it's where Gunther's thinking is a world championship.
Friggin'. But I don't know. I'm liking the story that's being told with Cody as a whole. Now, with the Brock stuff, I think I'm with you there a little bit there, Rich, where that has me a little on the lukewarm side. One, because Vince came back and Lesnar has to go back to being Mr. Serious fucking badass. And I'm just, why? Let Brock be Cowboy Brock. He is having a great fucking time and kicking ass, taking names, and, you know, what I can't even remember what was the reason again for him attacking Cody. Was one of
basically it amounted to, and I don't know if it ever came up on screen, but if you watched the psychology, was Cody had the match at WrestleMania and I didn't.
That's fucking stupid. He couldn't have the match at WrestleMania because he lost Roman at fucking SummerSlam.
Brock attacked Cody because Cody was there. Mm-hmm. That's the sense that it's all the common sense that they made out of it was Brock was there, Cody was there, Brock decided to smash Cody.
And the only logic is he that you could even attach to it would have been that he was jealous because he didn't have the WrestleMania match and Cody did.
Which, like I said, that's dumb because he couldn't face Roman for the title anyways because he lost Roman at SummerSlam, and the stipulation there was as long as Roman holds the belt, he can never challenge for it again.
Unless he were to win the Royal Rumble, which is why Brock was in the Royal Rumble, which he lost.
Yes.
And Cody won.
Friggin'. Out of all the shoot interviews I've ever watched, when you hear guys from the 90s talk about, especially guys from the 90s that were in WWF and WCW, and they talk about the differences between the two companies, and they talk about the difference between Vince and Bischoff, it was that Vince made sure everything made sense, and he tied up all the loose ends. Vince doesn't do that shit anymore.
Complacency makes one lazy. And there's been no competition, so he definitely got complacent.
Oh, for sure. And as you can tell, it bugs the shit out of me. I like my wrestling to make sense. I'm one of those. I'm a little old school like that. I think that's one of the reasons I like MJF. I mean, obviously, he's electric on the mic, but he's not out there fucking taking tombstones off a fucking middle rope and kicking out at 2. Like, what the fuck? You should be taking a year off your fucking career at that point and coming out in a wheelchair after that year. Be like, so the doctor said I'm going to be out another 6 months. Like, you just took a fucking tombstone from the middle rope and you're going to kick out.
That's one of the things AEW's got going against it, is the level of weaponry that they use, like the screwdriver and all that. It's a little too far.
Weaponry doesn't even bother me so much. The problem with AEW and their weaponry is it's overused. Like, if a chair is going to be used, it should only be used in one match. But when half the fucking card's using it, it's got no fucking meaning now. It's just it's something that's just there. It apparently that's just something that's natural to have happen. There's nothing special about it now. When you got seven matches on your card and 6 people are going through a table, well, who fucking cares that that your main event had the champion go through a table and that fucked him out of the title or something, because you had 5 other matches on the card where people went through a fucking table. It means nothing at that point.
I think the last AEW pay-per-view, there was actually 2 matches where a table got used. Well, one was a ladder match, and the other was Anarchy in the Arena, which was
that
insanity.
Was that Wardlow and Christian?
Yes, that was the ladder match. Yeah, Wardlow put Luchasaurus through 2 tables.
That's what I was talking about. They need to go back to having more clean matches.
They need guidance. They got to reel these guys in. Tony Khan needs somebody to book wrestling that knows that. Like Arn Anderson. I'm sure Arn Anderson could do some fucking booking. He's been around the business enough that I'm not saying that Arn would be, booking mastermind, but Arn's been in the business long enough. Like, he could make shit make sense. But then they need to get some agents that sit down with, especially these younger guys, and say, "You want to do what? Yeah, no, that's not fucking happening. You want to do a concerto? Well, Christian and whoever else are in this match, and they're going to be doing that in the main event. So, yeah, you guys aren't fucking even doing anything with chairs. We'll let you use some sort of weapon because this is AEW, and we don't give two flying fucks about weapons being used. But how about you use trash cans instead? You know, and you're not going to do a concerto type maneuver because again, that's going to fuck the main eventers. So there's got to be some fucking guidance, and those guys there don't have guidance. And you hear the veteran guys talk about it. Billy Gunn's talked about it. Jericho's talked about it very lightly. Punk's talked about it. Who else have I heard? Regal. There's somebody else. JR's talked about it, but there's another wrestler that I'm trying to think of. But anyways, they're like, hey, try this or that. Hey, that's gonna kill you. You're gonna regret that in 10 years or shit like that. And these guys are just like, yeah, fuck off. I'm not fucking listening to you.
Problem with getting Arn to do it is he doesn't want to. He had his fill of that when he
it was just an
WWE.
example.
Yeah, but Vince turned him off to doing the behind the camera stuff because that's what he was doing at one point, and he quit because he couldn't take Vince's shit anymore.
Yep. And the other, honestly, the person that would probably be really good at doing it, JR. I hate to say it, but
Jim Ross. That's when Jim Ross did that. Was working with Arn when Arn was doing it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, I mean, if you wanted a booker that's not Tony Khan, that's gonna make matches that make sense for one, and not be overbooked and just make one, overbooked, and two, just complete essentially parking lot brawls. I think JR would be really good at that. Again, a mind that's been in the business 50 fucking years.
But Jim Ross can't remember people's names from one match to the next.
Oh hell, who fucking cares about that?
See, JR's only got
you know who you're booking.
He's only got like 5 years experience, practical now.
The legitimacy, I think, is definitely a problem for longevity. I think AEW is pretty much entrenched. They're not going anywhere. WWE ain't going nowhere unless, of course, some crazy stuff happens in the upper corporate areas that we don't know about. But to keep growing as hot as they are, especially AEW, and as fast as they are, they've got to cut back on, like Barbecue said. Every single time somebody's cutting a promo, somebody cuts in on the promo.
Well, every single time that happens everywhere. That's every wrestling promotion. You get the same thing.
That's what I'm saying. All of them need to stop doing it because it's dumb. It's overplayed. The 50 chairs is overplayed. Every single match somebody cheats in a massive way to win.
All the run-ins and it's like fucking Vince Russo booking WCW. It's ridiculous.
No. It's not that bad.
It's close, Rich. Come on, it's fucking close, and you know it.
I was watching WCW 2000, and they ain't at that level.
Oh, I was too. I might have been 10. No, in 2000 I was 11, but nonetheless.
The last 2 weeks of watching, I did notice that there's been a couple key matches. I'd say about 5 or 6 matches across all the different TV channels where there was the one person outside the ring did some distraction and helped the person win. Some old school stuff like that. That was really well done. And they didn't have, 40 people jumping out of the stands and jumping into the ring and all that. So it was done really gracefully, I guess you could say. And I'm cool with people cheating. Bad guys going to cheat to win. I'm cool with all that. But, the bad guy doesn't need to have, you know, the big dramatic thing going on and, getting in the ring and all this other kind of stuff like they're doing now. They cut back on it just a little bit.
Yeah. It I want to like AEW. I really do. But the fucking super kick fests and like way back when the CM Punk MJF feud was going on, and CM Punk takes 9 power bombs. As he should have never gotten up. He should have been stretchered out. He should have been stretchered out and put on the shelf for 3 months.
Yeah, one real quick barbecue to getting back to catching you up since you've been gone for a while. The super kick, you might not know because you haven't been around and watching it quite as much. They actually renamed that. Now it's called the kick.
Yeah.
Half the time
Isn't
it's a
that
super
what
kick,
Mickey
the other time-
James?
No, that was the chick kick.
No, but man,
Close enough.
right there, it's like
The Mick kick. The Mick kick
it's like-
was her version. The chick kick was Trish's version.
Yeah.
super kick is going out of style, so you've got to get as many in on every television show as you possibly can before the end of the year because they can't do it after that.
Let's say, but it should start a counter and just start friggin' counting every friggin' super kick and roll up that's done throughout the year.
The roll up is the most dangerous move in professional wrestling.
100%. Well, then if you watch an MJF match,
roll up.
friggin'
Headlock takeover.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck?
Well, that's a throwback to when MJF and Darby first fought each other.
Yeah.
MJF beat him with a headlock takeover, and Darby said, "I'm going to beat you, and I'm going to take your world title with a headlock takeover." So MJF reverses it on him and beats him and wins the four pillars match by getting Darby in the headlock takeover.
Like, how the hell headlock takeover wins you a match?
Because he had already hit him with something else before that.
Still, tombstone pile driver off the middle rope. Nope, kick out at 2.
Darby was already knocked out. MJF picked him up and put him in the headlock takeover just to add insult to injury.
Don't care.
Oh, it's MJF. No, it's MJF psychology. He was just being a dick.
You would have cared if you could have seen the match. There was 2 times I can specifically remember in the match where I think everybody in the stadium must have been taking a deep breath because the only thing you could hear on TV was MJF going, "Motherfucker!"
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And,
loud as day.
Didn't he say "what the fuck" on one?
Yes, he did. He's like, "What the fuck?" At one point.
And then when
he's like, "Oh, motherfucker!"
This guy's apparently he had hurt his arm is why.
He looked at the camera and winked at the camera.
When he said "what the fuck," apparently that was when he injured his arm. And he came off the top rope on the one guy and he hit him with something and he's like, "Oh, what the fuck?" Because his arm. Because he came out for the press conference after that and his arm was all taped up. He had fucked his wrist up or something. They said it's not broke or anything in the press conference or press release the next day. But yeah, he apparently injured himself is why that happened. It's not like MJF doesn't go off script when the commercials are off anyhow. I sent Kingpin a link to the one where he just went off on the crowd and was calling him every name in the book. during the commercial break. If you watch AEW Dynamite from like Fight TV, which is a British company that shows Dynamite over in England and parts of Europe, when they go to commercial here, it stays live over there. So you see everything that happens during the commercial break that you're missing or is in picture. So when MJF had this promo, he was coming out for. They did the thing where they come out the entrance before the commercial break, then the commercial break, then do the promo after the commercial break. Well, on Fight, they showed MJF chewing out the crowd and stuff live on British television, and he's calling them F this, MF that. And
I fucking love MJF. Oh my god. They need to ride him the whole way to the fucking bank. So good. In that post-match scrum interview conference, whatever the hell you want to call it, friggin' one guy's like, "Hi, I'm blah blah blah." He's like, "Oh, you look like you got type 3 diabetes." I was like, "Oh, that's just so good." And the other one, guy's like, "Hey, blah blah blah." He's like, "Anybody ever tell you got Dumbo ears?" And the guy's like, "Actually, yeah." And then the guy does his question. And he's like, "Sorry, I really wasn't listening. I'm too distracted by your fucking ears."
What was the one you used in a video clip not that long ago, Kingpin? Some kid asked him for an autograph or something, and he like told him to go fuck himself or some shit.
Oh, I saw that one.
Now, there's the one where he's signing autographs, and this dad brings his like 10, 12-year-old daughter up to get an autograph from MJF, and MJF just lays into this little kid. It was the happiest you've ever seen this father and daughter. They were so happy MJF cussed them out. And then the one I used was the press conference after I think after the Bryan Danielson match, where he was talking all kinds of trash about being rich and being great, and he was like, "Anybody got any questions?" He goes, "Just kidding. Thank you. Fuck you. Bye."
Oh, you pulled the fucking Jim Cornette. Thank you. Fuck you. Bye.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's fucking great.
And knowing him, he probably did it as a shot at Cornette for the way Cornette goes after AEW all the time too.
Well, he probably did it as like a tip of the cap. Let's say because Cornette doesn't go after MJF really because he fucking loves MJF's promos. Now, I've actually heard him criticize one of MJF's promos recently, which it wasn't like he's like, "Oh, this was fucking dog shit" or anything. He's just like, essentially, is MJF running out of stuff to say? You know, because you can only say this so many times, and you know they're not building anybody well enough for him to eviscerate and not, you know, just tear them down to the point that they're, you know, say they were going to beat him, then it's going to make him look terrible if he lost, and likewise, if he eviscerates them on the mic like that, then you pretty much assume that he's going over because it's going to make him look like shit if he did lose. So
anybody that he could legitimately lose to has been involved in other feuds.
Yeah.
Which is why they put the 4 Pillars match together. It was something they could come up with. I mean, if you look at the last pay-per-view, you had all the members of the Elite were in one match versus the Blackpool Combat Club. There goes 4 of your contenders right there.
Yep.
Actually, 4? 3. 3 of the contenders, if you take away the fact that Claudio already has the ROH championship. So that's 5 of the contenders. The only one of those 5 that hasn't had a world title in AEW so far will be Danielson.
Oh shit.
You
That's
got,
hard to believe. Like, wow.
yeah, Omega, Adam Page, John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Bryan
Yeah,
Danielson were all in the same match. 4 of those guys have held a world title in AEW, and one of them isn't Danielson, which is hard enough to believe if you think about it.
Yeah.
But if you go back to the lineage, he has, because he's the former Ring of Honor World Heavyweight title holder.
Well, actually, hold up. If you go back to the lineage, the show's only 3-4 years old.
Yeah, but AEW owns Ring of Honor.
Right. But AEW Dynamite and Rampage ain't Ring of Honor.
Might as well be.
But that covers for why Danielson hasn't been given the strap yet.
Yeah,
The show's
but
only
lineage-wise, with Ring of Honor now and having the name and all the lineage as an AEW property, he has held a title in AEW's history. It's just like when WCW was purchased by WWE, Sting is on the list of champions in WWE by virtue of being a WCW champion at one point.
Let me tell you a little story. Cold winter's night, 1984, Mayflower trucks fired up and pulled out of Baltimore City. And those scumbags in Indianapolis called themselves world champions for years, a historic team for years.
Yep.
No, the Baltimore Colts were a championship historic team. The Indianapolis Colts were an expansion team. Thank you. Thank you. F you. Bye. Oh, and by the way, when MJF said thank you, he snatched Tony Khan's water bottle out of front of him.
Huh. Well,
Hold on.
that's kind of.
Kingpin just said F you. Is this now a PG show? Because I've been dropping F bombs left and right. I apologize.
No, I just don't do that too much.
It varies. One of us will say the full thing, and then next sentence we'll abbreviate.
Well, I got some.
There's no rhyme or reason.
I got some fucking irony for you. Yeah, the Mayflower trucks took off in the middle of the night in the snow, but like my team packed up and fucking moved to fucking Baltimore.
Hey, Jay,
and
that's
built
old.
them a fucking stadium and all kinds of fucking shit, man.
Why you bringing up old
And then won a Super Bowl like 2 years
Why
later.
you bringing up old stuff?
That
Jay?
team didn't get to take the name or their lineage with them.
No, but they were like world champion in 2 years or some shit?
Twice.
Fucking murderers on the fucking field and shit. I mean, damn. That could have been me, man. That could have been me, damn it.
Oh, the best part. When Joey Porter got shot by that one dude in the nightclub, he could have played the next game when they went to Baltimore.
I mean, that's what
Dude, you're talking about Ray what's-his-face.
Yeah,
yeah,
Ray
we're praying
Lewis.
for you. We hope you're doing well and everything. And Joey Porter looked at him and said, "Fuck you," and walked away.
Killed more men than smallpox, on and off the field.
I ran up old stuff. That's old news, man. I thought we were talking about the Colts.
That's even older, man. Right, that was almost 40 years ago, Kingpin.
Hey, I'm trying to get a job with the liberal news media. So when somebody brings up something that's not convenient for me to talk about, hey, that's old, man. Why you bringing up old stuff?
It's a
I feel like the
jinx,
Indianapolis Colts should change their name.
Because of that, it's going to take like 100 years for Cleveland to win. Just like when the Red Sox traded off Babe Ruth.
The curse
shit
of the
like
goat
that.
in Chicago.
Like, my God, man. Like,
Maybe not. I'm gonna say Jim Brown died. Maybe that's what you guys needed. Was just for Jim Brown to die. It's kind of
Oh,
shitty to say, but I mean, maybe that's
know what we need
We
is
gotta do this
this
for
one
Jim.
great player they call a fucking decent quarterback that
I
will
think-
be there for a decade. Decent for a decade. That's all you gotta fucking find.
So what you
But
want
no.
is Bernie Kosar.
No,
I think
anybody.
Brown-
Anybody. Give me
had
the
Tim
same
Couch.
dude. Let me
He
have
had
the
Tim
same
Couch.
dude that can
Oh,
get
man,
a
yeah.
first fucking down. That's all I ask for you, son. Is to try to get a first down. The same dude. That's all they need, and they can't do it. They can't do it. They've tried. They've tried more times than you could try. Like, I don't know. They should commit like NFL suicide. They should fire everybody there, every employee, all the way down to the dude who sells fucking hot dogs, and start all over again. Nothing new.
I know a great quarterback that's won like 40 games in Cleveland. His name's Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, the Browns should give some of them trannies to play. Those apparently they're good at sports.
At this point, we've hit so low it couldn't help. It couldn't hurt. I'll just say that they need something. I quit watching NFL. Maybe they do got somebody I know, but I doubt it. But I put 3/4 of my fucking life into rooting for them, man, and like it's wasted time. You can't get back, man. Bunch of fucking.
You guys have Deshaun Watson, and everybody's like, "Oh, well, he didn't do that well last year when he finally started playing. He was gone for a friggin' year and a half. Like, you expect him to just come back and ball out like you never missed anything? Like, come on, waiting to see what he does this year. You know, never know.
Oh, I do know. I've been down this road before. They're gonna suck. They're gonna be lucky to win one game, and that'll be about it, man.
With his legal stuff behind him now, and able to focus on football and shit like that, he could be going back to Deshaun of old, which is scary to fucking think about.
Nah, dude. They owe him a bunch of money. You don't understand what happens here. He's going to come out, play good, maybe win a game, maybe lose 3 or 4, and then he's going to get fucking hurt. And then he's going to be rich and hurt. And that'll be just how that goes. And next year he'll quit or go play for somebody fucking else. Because I told you they need a quarterback. That's the starting point. You could put the greatest quarterback in the world in there, and they're going to be lucky to win a game because the whole team just sucks. They suck, man. They suck. They are the worst of the worst, the laughing stock, the fucking major league movie Cleveland Indians. That's who they are, man. They suck.
They're consistently in the first 5 draft picks every season.
And don't do nothing with them. They've had more draft picks in the last 24 years, top picks, than like historic franchise would have loved to have had in like a fucking 100-year career. And they got nothing. They suck. We had what? Joe Thomas, a Hall of Fame to be.
That's what I was going to say. That's like the worst thing you guys fucking did.
Fuck? A guard.
Was squander Joe Thomas. Like, you guys could have at least been like, dude, we love you. We appreciate everything you ever did. We want to make sure you get a ring. We're sending you somewhere that is going to happen. Because he was so fucking loyal to you guys. Like, oh my God.
Baker, look, man, look what we just got rid of Baker Mayfield, man. Baker Mayfield. Failed professional athlete, paid millions and millions of dollars, and his predecessors can't throw the fucking ball 10 yards for the dude to catch it. They throw it over his head. They throw it short. They throw it over here. They throw it to the other fucking team. Like 100 times out of fucking like 100. They suck. That's a fucking $1 million fucking $35 million.
I don't know.
Can't throw that fucking ball.
you look at Baker Mayfield and the shit he had to go through. Went through what? 3 different offensive coordinators in the 4 years that he's in Cleveland.
I don't care who my boss is. My target is fucking 10 yards away. I'm paid to throw the ball to the hands of that guy right there. And he fails to do it over and over and over again. It's ridiculous. My Buckeyes, I'm a Ohio State fan. Seems like every quarterback they got forever is a fucking young kid, and he'll fling that motherfucker into a bullseye fucking 50, 60 yards out and do it fucking all the time.
Until they get to the NFL and decide
Yeah,
to play in
then-
traffic and get run over.
And then
I'm just telling you, man. Baker
Ohio
look
State
who they've had.
quarterbacks
They've had
and
Baker.
Alabama quarterbacks don't transition well in the NFL.
They had Johnny fucking Manziel, dude. They drafted
football.
Johnny Manziel.
They broke his spirit.
They've had all the fucking players, man. All the shit picks, and they picked the worst. They pass on the fucking legend got players.
They need to stop
and
drafting
pick the
fucking
worst.
quarterbacks with a first round picks.
And they say they paid Lamar $52 million.
The only offense Cleveland has had the past few years is Chubb, and they're running him into the goddamn ground.
Oh, now Chubb. Now Chubb always has been a good player. Yeah. Yeah. Chubb. They used to have another guy. They still got him.
Hunt?
Came from Kansas City.
Kareem Hunt.
Hunt, yeah. So those guys was good, but you can't win. You can't win the fucking games with just that.
That's
Look
what I
at
said,
the
they're gonna run him
receivers
into
they've
the
had
ground.
that have went to fucking junk, man. It's just, it ain't the same, man.
I'm sorry,
it ain't
but
the same. The Browns have never been the same since 1995. Never been the same. Ain't never gonna be the same.
Baker Mayfield friggin' balled out when he went to Los Angeles last year.
Do you guys actually remember and know who was on the 1995 Browns and the 94 Browns, 93
Ray
Browns?
Lewis was a rookie in '95, wasn't he?
Well, Ray Lewis hadn't been picked yet, but he was like the first pick with Baltimore Ravens, some shit. But
He
look
was
what
he was a draft pick of the Browns.
let me
He
just
was the last player from when they were the Browns to retire.
let me just put this in perspective of what was standing there in Cleveland. Cleveland had done pretty good in the late 80s, early 90s. They was one game away from the Super Bowl, many playoffs, right? They wasn't a scrub team, right? They weren't. We started to have a little quarterback trouble between Vinny and fucking Testaverde and Bernie Kosar. We kind of needed a quarterback change coming soon. Had Holcomb and some guys in there. But look who the coaches were of those last two teams. Bill Belichick was the coach. And you know who the defensive coach was? Nick Saban. Now imagine the Cleveland Browns with some added more talent like Ray Lewis and Bill Belichick's the coach and Nick Saban is the defensive coach. There was Super Bowls in the waiting there is what I'm hinting at. You know what I mean? And it got flushed down the fucking toilet.
imagine if they were just patient with their coaches and went from something like Chuck Noll to Bill Cowher.
Nobody is patient with coaches anymore. I mean, the fact that Mike Tomlin still has a job in Pittsburgh is absolutely mind-blowing.
Yes and no. When you
What's
figure
that?
the guy's never had a losing season.
No,
He got
hold up,
fired?
wait. Mike Tomlin.
No, I
Mike-
said he still has a job. Is mind-blowing. If you think the reason why I say that, in the last 50 years, how many coaches have the Steelers had?
Hold up. In the last 50 years, how many coaches ran out on the field and tried to interfere with the other players?
Oh, I'm sure
No,
there's others that
actually,
have been caught.
hold on. No. So, I actually watched podcasts where they asked Tomlin about that. So Tomlin said he was watching the big screen, and this actually makes sense. So you know how if you're doing something with your phone and like you're using the forward-facing camera, everything's reversed.
Mm.
So when he's watching the big screen, he's watching the game, but on the big screen, it's reversed for him. So he realizes that the shit's coming towards him. So he said that he went to move, but because he's watching the screen, he moved the wrong fucking way. Now, obviously, people can speculate is that true or not, but it makes sense.
It's, you know, I can believe that. Turn your camera on StreamYard,
Yeah,
and it'll fuck with you.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Not mirrored.
Because if you're focused on that screen, you're not thinking about, oh, I need to go this way in real life.
Just a caveat to the internet out there. These two guys that are doing all this shilling for Mike Tomlin cheating and endangering the lives. They're both Pennsylvania guys.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Rich is going to scream, "Oh, I'm West Virginia now." They're both.
No, I'm not. I
Pennsylvania.
claim the opposite all the time. Just 'cause I
No,
live in West Virginia don't mean I'm from West Virginia.
it's hard to top my coach, boys. My all-time legend coach. Hell, his picture is hanging right here within feet of me. Talk about a coach that would interfere in the game. My coach grabbed a player and punched him and then put him in the stranglehold, man.
Dick butt
His
kisser.
coach, Latrell Sprewell.
Woody Hayes. Damn Clemson kid. Unfortunately, he got fired. But
Imagine if he did that shit today.
Oh, he'd be in jail. Fired and in jail. Look what happened to Bob Knight because he threw a chair at somebody.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, back when Woody was coaching, they actually had a chalkboard. You know what I mean? Where you wrote with chalk and used the eraser to erase it, and you drew plays. You know what I mean? You drew circles for the players and X's and drew lines and pointing arrows. That shit. Woody's last game there, and that happened, so they know he was like fired the next day. His chalkboard for the game is still there and preserved in the locker room at the Ohio State University. Woody's chalkboard with everything he had written on it from that day is untouched. It's like a sacred shrine.
Anyway,
Nice.
to get back to what my point was before we interrupted about Tomlin being a cheater, was how many coaches have the Steelers had in the last 50 years?
3.
How many has the rest of the league had on every single team? More than 3.
Cleveland's had 19 coaches?
Cleveland's had 3
in the last
since
decade.
99. Since 99.
Cleveland has had a season where they had 3 in one season. It's not a joke. I'm not being serious. They had 3 in a season.
Uh-huh.
Actually, all teams have 3 coaches in a season. There's an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator.
Head coach. 3 head coaches in one season.
I think they've had 20 some quarterbacks too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, let's say the amount of quarterbacks that you guys go through.
And the Ravens have had 3 coaches. They had the fat white guy that his brother was from Philadelphia, I think. Then they had the Bill guy, the big dude with the mustache that looked like the Pittsburgh coach. And then they got the guy that now, the Harbaugh guy, right?
Yeah.
They had
What,
they had
Jim?
Harbaugh. They had who else did they have? I'm trying to remember what other coaches they had. I don't remember.
I know by looking at them, I can't think of their name.
I can't even picture them. I'm throwing a complete blank.
Because at the end of the day, it's the Ravens. Not important. Actually, I say that, but let's say Deshaun does go back to form this season. AFC North is going to be a hell of a division this year. First off, Joe Burrow in Cincinnati, absolutely insane. The next decade, they're just going to be an absolute force to reckon with. Kenny
Tell you
Pickett
what,
was looking pretty awesome last year.
yeah,
I mean,
it's going to be
for a
a
rookie.
quarterback. I can't believe I'm saying this about the AFC North, but it's going to be a quarterback's division.
Yes.
Cleveland better get themselves a quarterback.
That's what I'm saying. If Deshaun gets back to form this season, he's going to be making Cleveland competitive. But it's all going to hinge on if he gets back to form or not.
It also depends on if they got an offensive line that can pass block or not. They can run block.
Yeah.
I mean, they can pass block.
I had to look it up. Brian Billick.
Yeah, that's who it was. Brian Billick.
Now it says the other guy was Ted Marchibroda. But I thought Ted Marchibroda was like famous for football for another reason. I thought that it was the Philadelphia's coach, Andy Reid. It was one of the Reid brothers. Maybe that guy was a defensive coach for the Ravens. I don't know.
But the other thing is, you don't necessarily have to pass block that well when you've got a mobile quarterback like Deshaun.
Well, it certainly helps.
Oh, 100%. I mean, if he can sit in the pocket and throw dimes, yeah. But if he has to use his legs and escape the pocket, which, I mean, that's why he was a highlight reel in Houston, because
but he didn't. He wasn't playing opposite the Steelers.
He wasn't playing the AFC fucking North.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You play in the AFC North.
What, I mean,
running ain't gonna get you very fucking far.
Running ain't gonna get you very far when you got like T.J. Watt and.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's got 6 of the most fiercest matchups that he's gonna have all
in
season.
Division. Yeah, division. I mean,
go ask RG3 how his ribs was doing when he decided to come play for Cleveland. He didn't run very much till they broke him.
Oh, his leg was already screwed up before that.
RG3 sucked his entire life. I don't know why anybody's ever liked him. I stopped liking the Redskins 100% when they signed RG3.
I stopped liking the Redskins 100% when they changed their name. Yeah. Heard that they might actually have to change their name again because something with trademark.
Okay. Lady Antebellum is a country group.
Yeah.
It's just Antebellum now.
Well, it's even different because apparently Antebellum has something to do with like southern stuff, like southern plantations.
The Antebellum South. Yeah, that was the slave era.
Okay, so they decided they were going to change their name.
What was it, Lady A or some shit?
Lady A.
And there's a black
woman,
female singer that has that name.
But they're still called Lady A, though.
Yep.
Like they must have told that black woman who's apparently still alive, I think.
Yeah.
They must have told her to kick rocks. So what happened to their anti-racism?
I don't think she had it trademarked or something. And the, record label was like, fuck it. We're going to do what we want.
This name, that ain't died off yet, man. That shit's got to fucking stop. I know their name's Lady Antebellum. I know all the success they had. No one's ever had a fucking problem with it, man. big fucking deal, antebellum.
Well,
Ask 99% of the people, and they don't even know what antebellum means. And it don't
gets
mean
better.
nothing bad any fucking way.
You know what Fort Bragg is going to be called starting, I believe, in July?
Fort Braggadocious.
Fort Freedom. They're changing the name for Fort Bragg to Fort Freedom because Bragg was a Southern general.
I thought they were going with Liberty.
Yeah,
Is it-
Liberty or some Liberty
Yeah, I
or
thought it
Freedom or
was
some
Fort
stupid
Liberty.
shit. It's something along those lines. It's either Fort Freedom or Fort Liberty. So it's
And to Jason's point, I did not know what antebellum meant until Lady Antebellum forced me to know. And I did not know what Fort Bragg meant until I was forced to know. Nobody cares why it's called Fort Bragg.
well, they're probably gonna be changing Fort Benning too because Benning was another Confederate general.
$6 million is what they estimate the change in the name of Fort Bragg is going to cost. So you know that means 10 million at least. Get back to work, Jason. We're gonna cut your benefits to barbecue. You too rich. You know we got to change all our letterheads. So you schmucks have got to pay for it.
Do you know
I
what?
guess.
You know what street I live on?
Fort Bragg.
No, for real. What the name of my street is?
Yeah, I just guessed Fort Bragg.
It's I'll give you a clue. Bill and Hillary.
Oh, Clinton.
Yeah.
Do you know what the street, the side street next to me is called?
Obama.
Suicide.
Congress.
Okay.
And the strange part is, these streets were here and named this fucking 70 years ago.
No, we got to change the name of that street. Can't be Clinton because Clinton was a redcoat general.
Yeah.
And one of Bill Clinton's ancestors, by the way.
We could just change them both out of like common decency.
Mm. Bill Clinton's
I drive home every day, and I have to see the words Congress and Clinton every day.
But General Clinton, who was one of the chief redcoat generals during the American Revolution, is Bill Clinton's great uncle or some shit like that.
I wonder if Hillary Clinton would ever do WWE.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Jason. To say probably because she's not getting it from Bill.
No, she wouldn't want it from Bill anyway.
She's got Uma Abedin, or whatever that chick's name.
Well, Trump did it. So
Yeah, Wiener's wife. She's got Wiener's wife.
Yeah, could you imagine if Trump and Hillary like did the dirty deed?
No, I don't, and I don't want to. So shut up.
Oh, you know, fucking Trump would humiliate her, man. You know it. Oh, treat her like a fucking dirt whore. He would.
Quit putting these images in my head. God, what's wrong with you people?
Rich. Hillary Clinton comes to you.
No.
Listen. Wearing nothing but a towel. Wearing nothing but a towel and says,
no.
"Do me now."
No!
and I'll end the NFA and drops the
Oh,
towel. What do
that
you
was my
do?
headphones. Like, them off. I don't have to hear them.
Just just imagine the dossier was true, man, and like Trump's pissing all over Hillary, and she's just fucking loving
Oh,
it.
what the? I think we just learned something about Jason's search history.
I'm not saying he's talking about Trump and Hillary. I'm saying he'd go all at it, boy.
Jason's looking for it on those AI sites that put together the pictures.
You know what would be really great? If fucking Nancy Pelosi was there with him.
Oh, God.
And the Pope.
Yeah, the Pope is one communist son of a bitch.
Trump built a hotel on Epstein's Island.
I bet you Nancy Pelosi's drunk right now.
Nancy Pelosi's drunk when she gets up in the morning.
You know what, man? That would be a great bet to wager, man. Right there. He said, I bet Nancy Pelosi's drunk right now. I bet
Nancy
that's got a
Pelosi's having a
high
vodka
probability of winning right there.
Pelosi's having a vodka milkshake with all that high class ice cream she's got in that freezer.
And her husband's probably getting railed by some transient gay dude.
Who happens to also be his drug dealer.
You got nothing else to do. They took his car.
That dude wailed him right now with a hammer.
On sadder note, Nancy's getting drunk. Paul's getting
Hammered and
getting hammered one way or another. And our beloved commander in chief is
falling down the stairs.
probably napping in bed right about right now, probably.
He fell out of bed.
As the world turns.
Did you see where he fell on the stage the other day?
Yeah.
Look, all right. Joe Biden, we've all seen every time he's fell. Most of the time that he's fell. A lot of people, like, they're making jokes about it. I get it, but they act like falling upstairs is the most unbelievable thing that's ever happened.
My daughter does it all the time. She
I
goes to
do
run up the stairs and falls down.
I do it all the time. So it's not like I was trying to explain to my dad when he fell over on the bike, because that was like the second or third thing that he did. And my dad was like, "Hey, what happened with that? Like, did Joe Biden fall on his bike or something?" I was like, Joe Biden keeps falling because he's a goofball. It's not necessarily because he's old and decrepit. It's because he's a dummy. And he's a dummy. He was trying to act all cool and run up Air Force One steps, and that's why he fell. Because he was acting like an idiot. When he pulled over on his bike, he was trying to hey to what little kid was standing there, and he wasn't smart enough to put his foot down, so he crashed his bike. Now, the thing at the Air Force Academy, I think he was just being stupid because he was all dazed and didn't know where he was and started falling over top of stuff. But most of the time, it's just because he's an idiot, not because he's old and decrepit.
There is the occasion where they had to stop him because he was about to walk off the edge of the stage.
Well, he's turning around to shake hands with people and ain't there.
Yeah, there's that too.
He's turned around lost, don't know which way to go. And then there's the fall, and I get it. Like, even this last fall, Wasn't there something there he could trip over? Didn't they say tripped over
Yeah,
a sandbag or something holding
he
down
probably
this?
tripped over something because he
Well,
wasn't paying
okay, he
attention.
tripped
Yeah,
over something like you were saying anybody would have tripped over. My question is, why are you having something there that this frail old man is, even though we don't like him, is the fucking president? Why do you have something there that he's even gonna fucking trip over? I mean, you gotta take better care of the man. Uh, I'll give him a pass on that one. Tripping over something there on the ground, that's one thing. But like the bicycle, he just stopped like a fucking idiot and never put his feet down, never took them off the pedals. Uh, I, that's just a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I only seen it once or twice, but I don't see any big deal about making fun of him about tripping on the thing here at the Air Force thing. I see is it more of a cause for concern, maybe.
Yeah.
But
You
like,
know,
you shouldn't
I
have
had a
had
buddy do that
something
with his
there, man.
motorcycle.
You shouldn't
you-
have something there. I mean, that's the main thing. He wouldn't have
yeah.
had something there. He's doing good. He knew where to go this time. For the love of God, he was doing good, and he fucked it all up.
Here's another way to look at it. Back in the 70s, Gerald Ford tripped one time coming down the stairs of Air Force One, and Chevy Chase made a career out of it on Saturday Night Live.
True.
Biden's fair game at that point. I'm sorry.
yeah. I'm not saying don't make fun of it. I'm just saying it's not decrepit old Joe Biden. It's
Yeah, I get what you're
Joe
saying.
Biden trying to act like he's not like he's Mr. Peppy guy. Or when he fell over on the bike, when you look at the camera shot, as soon as he pulls up on his bike, he starts leaning forward, talking to somebody. So he's not paying attention because he's being a creepy old goofball and not paying attention. It's not because he was an old man and who can't ride a bike. Yeah, I make fun of Joe Biden every single chance you get. That dude's a horrible, disgusting scumbag. But one of the funniest ones to go look up if you didn't see it, talking about him falling off the stage, when Kamala Harris basically had to reach out and grab the back of his jacket to keep
Yeah,
him from falling off the stage.
yeah, because
That
he was
was
going to walk right
amazing.
off the edge.
Yeah, yeah. And everybody was like, I can't believe that Kamala Harris actually saved Joe Biden's life, because the whole joke is she's going to push him off the stage to become president. And if it wasn't for her, he'd have probably fell off that stage.
Yeah, it was another one where he gets done giving a speech, and he starts wandering off. Jill had to run over and grab him and pull him back the other way.
Man, let me get back to the thing to remind you that Joe and Kamala, they are just puppets, man. They're not running this show. They're not running this country. They're made for you to think that they fucking are. They're nothing. Neither one of them's anything. And that was our joke. All she'd shove him off so she could get the job. There is no way she will ever have the fucking job. If something out of their control made her be elected, that I hate to say that was happened, but she wouldn't be here, and they're not going to have her even as the head puppet. That ain't going to happen, man. There's too much big things that the government, even that's why our votes and shit don't count no more, man. There's too much going on. There's too much that have been running the show for years, and we just never realized it, man. But there's like, as bad as Joe is, there's no way they're gonna let that Kamala go in there. There is
Oh,
no
damn, I've
way.
been muted. Anyways, when Jason just said,
They'll
that's why
they'll fake the old man's existence before they swear her in. I'll just say that.
I don't know. I was actually spitballing on this the other night. Everybody, was swearing, 2 years, and they're gonna Amendment 25 Joe and get Kamala in there and try and get 10 years of a presidency. And it's like, why would they, if they're really wanting to do that? Why wouldn't they try and milk Joe for all he's worth? If they can milk him for 2, could they milk him for 6? So in his second term, Amendment 25 them. And then,
guarantee that he's going to be around for another 6.
100%. I agree 100%.
Christ, and just as bad as fucking Fetterman.
I'm just saying. Oh, Fetterman's. Oh God.
Yeah. Did you see the couple weeks ago when when his return to the Senate, the question he was asking, dude, that the newspaper started. He asked a biting question that left the witness speechless. If you watch the video, he didn't even ask a goddamn question.
Well, that's a good way to leave somebody speechless.
What the hell did you say?
How can you look at me when I'm talking to you?
He just rambled together a series of words and nobody knew what the hell he said.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's good to see him back to normal.
Well, they say he's not brain dead. Brain dead would have been an improvement.
Did any of you guys see the Chris Sununu character on The View?
What's that?
Chris Sununu apparently is a governor in America somewhere.
Oh, on New Hampshire? Yeah, I seen that.
And he was on The View the other day. And apparently he killed it for the 2A.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, I caught that. Yeah.
Yes, but did he kill it for the 2A, or am I just missing something here?
He done good. I wouldn't say it killed it. I wouldn't say it was stellar, because you know how them women, as soon as you say something they don't like, they start talking and cut you off. So like, a majority of everybody probably didn't hear what he was really saying, but he just slammed back in their face the same shit. Like, they're like, you said new gun laws and all that, and he's saying gun laws aren't gonna solve this problem. You know what I mean? And he starts rattling off he'd rather spend money on the mental health and issues and parenting and all kinds of shit like that, and they just drowned him out. And then they're talking about why not ban this and ban that, whatever. And he was like, look at Chicago, the highest, stiffest gun laws in the country. It doesn't work. And they just, all the women just all start talking and drowned him out. And that's about all it amounted to.
So, did you guys catch Megyn Kelly's take a week or two ago?
I didn't catch her take on the 2A, but I heard her take on Charlize Theron when she said, come fight me. So Megyn Kelly was like, okay, come fight me.
So Megyn Kelly a couple weeks ago had a take on 2A, and she finally said, hey, you know what? I'm tired of this shit happening. She's like, shame on the anti-gunners for hijacking the conversation all the time. Obviously, your tactics aren't working. Perhaps we should listen to the other side. And I don't know, I think it was probably about a 10-minute rant by her. She, at the end of the day, she's just like, I just want these things to end. But obviously, the same old same of let's ban this, let's ban that, and hijacking the conversation and saying, oh, if you feel this way, you're a fucking bad person. If you don't fucking agree with us, she's like, no, it's not how we fucking solve this problem. She's like, there's over 300 million guns in this country. They're not fucking going away.
Yeah, well, it's the same old problem like that. It's great to have people come out and support it on the news and the media and everything, but it's everybody's been propaganded so much and brainwashed. They need educated.
Yep.
These guns is not the issue, right? Like, it may be a stupid reference, but like, there's a lot of cars out there, right? And a lot of cars speed and kill people. You're not trying to ban the fucking car. You're not trying to sue Ford or Dodge or somebody. You're not trying to restrict them like speed limit's 65. You shouldn't be able to make a car that goes over 65. They don't do none of that. But in the other flip side of this is they don't understand these guns is our right. It's in the Constitution. They're all about rights and everything. This is in ink. This is it. The second one. This is what everything in of our society should be built around. They're trying to take our rights away. They're angry. They're mad. They're emotional. I don't think they get it that it is in the Constitution. They think the states, the government, the laws should do whatever they wanted to these evil guns, and they just don't get it. It's the same as your free speech. It's the same as your other
Well,
protections, and
that's
they
the
don't
problem, Jason.
understand that. They don't get it as is your rights of everything else. They think everybody should have the right to ban them, get rid of them. They're not educated, but it still comes down to just like the car. Is it the car's fault or is it the driver's fault? Of course, it's the driver's fault. It's just like with the guns. It's not the gun. It's the person who uses it wrong. And no banning the guns does anything. They have to reel in the crime. They have to punish those who use a gun in a crime. You start doing that, you'll start making improvements. But when you're not going to do that at all, you just see what happens. It's going to get worse and worse in some areas. Some areas that don't even affect it.
But that's part of the issue,
Like,
Jason, is you just mentioned it's no different than any of your other rights. But in some of the videos you can go watch now where they are talking to this younger generation, because apparently I'm a fucking millennial. I'm like, what? Like, how the fuck's that work out? That's bullshit. I ran around and fucking drank out of garden hoses too. Fuck off. But these early 20-year-olds and shit, they'll be like, Second Amendment, blah, 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 get rid of it. Then they're like, well, if they did that, how would you feel if they, limited your First Amendment rights or something like that? And they're like, well, I don't think, people should have the ability to just say whatever they want either. I'd be cool with, they limit what you can say. I'm like, what the fuck is the matter with people? Yeah.
It's because by
People
and large,
just fine with giving up rights.
All of our politicians, all of our people in power, they don't care. They want more violence. They want more crime. They don't care. That's what they want. They have their own goals and reasons. They don't want things to be, peaceful and nice and accountability and stuff. They don't want that. They want chaos, man.
Yep.
Chaos is more power and more money for them.
They
don't want this mom and dad, Ozzie and Harriet's, the 1950s. They don't want that at all, man.
No, they want people's ability to defend themselves to be eliminated, create as much crime as they can, so the people whose rights they just took away, being able to defend themselves, then crawl back to the government. Oh, you got to save us, so that they can implement whatever martial law, whatever they want for total complete government takeover of everything.
Exactly. That's why our children are all raised now with no education. So they have no means in the futures to survive. They're not faced with obstacles and conquests, and they're just babyfied and woke. And they're making us all weak, man, generation by generation, and makes them easier to control us.
If you want historical references to that, look at what happened during the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia, the rise of the Nazi Party in Germany, the rise of the Fascist Party in Italy, the rise of the Fascist Party in Spain. They all started the same way, to different degrees of violence, but it all started with some form of violence that was started by the party that was trying to take power. And then once they got the power they wanted, the idiots that they used to start the violence, they got rid of them.
You know, the only thing that's gotten us where we are now is this is a very big country. Maybe not by number of people, but in land mass size. So that equates to a lot of different types of folks and a lot of different cultures and personalities. We're widespread enough that you know that's part of our defense, keeping things in check. Like, imagine if the whole country was major, everything was Baltimore, New York, Chicago, Los Angeles. You know what I mean? Complete governmental control of your life being a shithole in chaos. But at least there's enough of this country spread out, you know, in small town America that just doesn't agree with their bullshit. That's part I think what keeps us going. Smaller countries, you got to think. Look at the countries in Europe and the things where stuff happened in the past. Things are happening now. These countries are roughly the size of some of our states. You know what I mean? Or a state
One
or
exception
two.
would be Russia.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. They're a small area and easier to control the mass of people that's in that small area. We're spread out, so you know what I mean. You can't tell a country folk about big city life, and you can't teach a city slicker about country life. You know. So you take away the guns from the country people, and then you don't care what they think.
You go over to the Eastern Hemisphere, the only country that's on par, or the only two countries that are on par landmass wise with the United States and Canada are Russia and China. As far as the Northern Hemisphere is concerned, because if you go farther south, you got India and Australia. But that's it. Every other country, even in Africa, as big a continent as Africa is, the countries are relatively small compared to the United States, Canada, Russia, and China, India, and Australia. Thinking the
Well,
Western
heck,
Hemisphere. What?
You figure the only thing in Africa that compares to the continental U.S. is the Sahara Desert.
Yeah, in Egypt and Morocco in particular.
To say otherwise, I mean, like you're saying, countries are all small.
South Africa at one time, but that country's going to shit.
Oh my God, that is not somewhere I'd ever want to go. At least not now.
No.
South Africa?
Yeah.
Hell, that ain't never been a good place to go, has it?
Well, it depends on your point of view. But if you were black, you didn't want to be in South Africa during apartheid. But during apartheid, they were a developing first world country with a large manufacturing center.
Man,
look at the country now. I'm not saying apartheid's good, but look at what it is now. It's falling apart.
Didn't Mel Gibson in his Beretta '92 like kick their ass or some shit?
Yeah, it was just a dirty, corrupt ambassador.
Yeah.
Where's Mel when you need him?
And it wasn't actually Mel. It was actually Murtaugh.
Yeah. Diplomatic immunity. It's just been revoked.
Yeah, but Riggs distracted him by taking all the bullets to the shoulder.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah, and that set it up so Murtaugh could, you know, pop him with that 4-inch Smith that he had. It was teamwork, man. Anyways, moral story, I thought they got rid of these fucking South Africa chumps, man. I didn't know there were still problems there.
South Africans are lit right now, man. They're killing whiteys, confiscating their farms and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, it's fucking insane.
Friggin'
carjackings and kidnappings. Oh, man.
British whiteys, though, right? Basically.
I would imagine so, yeah.
Alright, fucking blimey, bastards.
Well, we gotta start wrapping this up, guys. So, Jason, you got anything you want to say before we get out of here?
If it itches, don't scratch it.
Yeah, it
Alrighty.
sucks, man. You had to remind me about that. I completely forgot.
Yeah, Barbecue, you weren't here at the beginning. Jason's got poison ivy from head to toe.
Of all different stages, patterns, shapes, you name it, man. I don't know, man. It's like I fell in nuclear waste or something, man. It's eating me a lot.
Were you reenacting Brokeback Mountain?
No, I was cleaning up my fucking yard, man. Cleaning out like all the supposed to be flower bed areas and some shit. And I seen it. I don't think it's poison ivy. I think it's sumac or poison oak or something. And I kind of knew that's what it was looking like. It turned out to be a vine. I mean, I pulled on fucking 20, 30 feet of it, pulling it out of places and shit. And I was good. I thought I beat it. I cleaned up real good, and I didn't have a single spot on me for a day or two, and then it fucking hit. I'm covered.
I guess Rich gave up on the outros.
Apparently.
I was just waiting for Jason to get done with his little story there. So, what about you, Kingpin?
Peace.
He's
Yo.
one word intro, one word outro.
Yo.
What about you, Barbecue?
Just like to send out a little friendly PSA. If it itches, don't scratch it. Jason gave it to her, and you should probably go get yourself checked. With that being said, be sure to go check out Rich White's Patreon. I don't know if one actually exists. I don't remember. But if it does, you can go check that out. I'm pretty sure it's under Unloaded Media, if I remember correctly. And with that being said, be sure to check in and catch This Week Unloaded tomorrow evening.
Yes, and the Patreon information is down in the description, as it always is on all these videos and live streams. So if you want to check that out, you can find the link down there in the description box.
Kaboom.
So, with that said, we will bid you all adieu, and we will catch you next week. And no, I'm not going to do the whole Kenny Omega thing, so don't ask. Bye,
Thank you.
folks.
Fuck you. Goodbye.
No, that's MJF. Or if you want to go high pitch, Jim Cornette.
You guys are probably really scared right now, and I understand that completely. But I get the better of the deal, and even though it's 3 versus 2, you guys are outnumbered because we're better than you guys. Yeah, we are. We're legends in our own mind compared to you guys. Even though you guys got the egos, we have got the wrestling skill. And this guy right here